Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little tired, but I'm gonna hold it down for at least 2 hours. How about
Mm,
you?
Girl, I can't even say I'm good. Life is long. That's all I can say. Life is long. Y'all, I got a couple warnings for y'all. Insurance, if you don't have it at all, is the worst possible thing you can do, but just having insurance doesn't necessarily mean all your problems are resolved.
Mhm.
Or there won't be any problems. That is point one. I have to give y'all that. Point two is this, and I apologize. I will take personal responsibility for how late we are starting today, despite the fact that Melody has a life in the mornings and Ruby sleeps. But here's the thing. So because my laptop currently will not turn on, we don't know if it's because the laptop itself is water damaged or if it's just because the plug, which was on the floor and really submerged in over a foot of water for who knows how long, is damaged. Right? We're not sure. So for now, I got to use everything on my phone, and we're trying to beat YouTube, okay, and all of these ridiculous false instant copyright claims and whatnot. And I tried so much stuff, y'all. I was trying so I think I made 3 different separate videos of the clip we wanted to use, and it was just not working. And so we're not going to play that clip today, but I'm going to keep struggle trying on my phone. Okay, I will. I promise. We're gonna get to that clip because it is good. It is juicy. Y'all don't even understand how good and juicy this clip is. So it wasn't worth the wait tonight, but it will be when you guys hear it in a day or 2 or 3, whatever day that I finally get it going. Y'all are gonna be like, oh, Ruby found us a gem. Trust me. Trust me.
Right. And we're both kind of struggle streaming because, as you guys know, my computer is also water damaged, and I've been without a computer for months. And
True
I was
that.
depending, right? And I was depending on Ruby for everything to make all of the thumbnails and everything. But don't worry, we will both be back on our feet pretty soon. But we're still gonna come and give you guys the best content we could on our phones.
Exactly. Given that it's on our phones, and y'all listen, the fact that I figured out how to share stuff from the phone, even like y'all don't understand how hard we're still working for y'all. We really are. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be an open discussion, open debate today, right? But we working hard, y'all. We really are. You
For
know,
real, like
that's how
this
much we
ain't
love
easy.
y'all.
We love y'all. This ain't easy. For those who are not content creators, this
Mm-hmm.
ain't easy. And for those who are content creators, y'all know the struggle. Y'all know
Mm-hmm.
what we go through to try to keep our audience happy.
Right?
Mhm.
Stimulated and oh, y'all, even when you have your own problems, you're not allowed to have problems, right? You're a content creator. Right? So,
Right. We try to leave all of that behind for you guys, but
mhm,
we have a nice show for you, even without the computers.
mhm,
We're talking about relationships, right, Ruby?
mhm. I think more specifically, which is important, and yeah, we talk about this a little bit here and there. And the video that we will be playing for y'all eventually sometime this week is going to touch
Thursday.
on this as well. Thursday is going to touch on this as well, right? But it's about dating standards, right? And
Mhm.
I think the thing is, right? I think a lot of people just say, the men say women's dating standards are unrealistic, and the women say men's dating standards are unrealistic. And no one really talks about it though, right? Like we don't get into the nitty gritty of it and really examine, like, well, what is unrealistic, and is that a blanket statement, or you know?
Exactly. So I dropped the link. We're gonna do it a little different tonight. We're gonna, you know, do a debate so you guys can come up right now if you want to participate in it. But until then, Ruby, you want to start, like, give your opinion on it, and then I'll
Mhm.
go. Okay.
Okay, so this is the way I see things, right? On one side, you've got people, I think, on both sides, honestly, I'm gonna be real. Whether you're talking about the men or the women, I think both the men and the women these days have incredibly unrealistic dating standards. And when I say unrealistic, I'm not saying it's unrealistic to want the best of the best and the top tier of the top tier and whatever, right? I just don't think that people are being objective and logical. Like they're not evaluating, for example, the
Mhm.
level in quality and caliber of man or woman that they want to be with, right? How rare that is in the population, and then looking at what they have to offer or provide in return, and then seeing whether or not what they have to offer or provide is even in the ballpark of the realm of these super high quality and rare men and women. So I think
Mhm.
everyone is really unrealistic these days. Everyone is really selfish too. All they care about is what they want. They don't care at all about what the other person should want. And what it is that they would have to do maybe to even get to a level where they can make those types of demands. That's what it is.
Right. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say this. Yeah, both male and females are, they do have unrealistic standards. But let's talk about the women right now because I think women's dating standards are way higher than the men. Like they want a high value man, they want a very handsome man, and a lot of time these women are overweight, these women are average, these women are not that pretty in the face, but they want someone who's like high value, someone who's rich, someone who's handsome. And it's ridiculous to me. Whereas men, a lot of times men will date down,
Mm-hmm.
but women, oh my God, the standards are so high.
I hear you, but here's my thing. I think that men's standards, they might not be seen as high, but I think they're incredibly unrealistic. Because most men are not truly evaluating the society they live in, what the reality is of the living circumstances they could actually provide, versus what it is that they want from a woman. So, for example, on average, right, if you want to live a middle class or above life and you want to provide a middle class or above life for your children, for your family, right, as a man, and since the majority of men are average income earners, right, then generally you are going to need a second income coming into your household, right? So,
Hmm.
which is fine. To me, I don't think that wholly throws off the concept of wanting some traditionalist values, but I think it's problematic when a guy who doesn't evaluate the fact that, well, if I only make an average income and I want to be able to provide my family at least a middle class existence, we're going to need that second income coming in. And so as a result, my wife's going to need to work. That means that I'm going to need to necessarily stop saying, well, she's got to just submit to me and she's got to just have no opinion and she just got to cook and clean and she's got to take care of the kids and she's got to fulfill all of the feminine roles, right? I will protect and provide and take out the garbage, I guess. Maybe I'll clear out the dishwasher sometimes, I guess I'll babysit my kids, if she really sick or tired this week, I guess. But it's almost like they're not processing the fact that, well, you're protecting and providing. I get that. You work hard. I get that. But if she's got to go out and work 40 hours a week too, right? Then you seeing all of the stuff in the house as the woman's domain to take care of, and it's not your responsibility because you're a male and you protect and provide. Like, I feel like that's just it's not realistic, and you're not really looking at the reality of what you're providing versus what it is that she is doing, right? So even though I think that in a circumstance where both men and women have to work full time, that men are still made to be, the leaders because they have that overall, kind of wider thinking than women, and women are better at the day-to-day thinking. I do think that you have to look at the division of labor and responsibility differently. If you need the second income coming in, that's what it is.
Well, let's think about it. Back in the day, our grandparents and then their parents, they all did it. They all survived. The men weren't making that much money and the women still had to work, but they had easier jobs for women. They probably didn't make as much as the men, but they did bring an income in a house. But the women still cook, the women still clean, the women still cater to their man, the women still nurtured the children and everything after work. They still had that man's food on the table. They still had that man's bath water ran. They had his pajamas ready, everything. And they
Yeah.
still had to work. So I don't think that's a good,
Well, see, the problem though,
example.
Melody, is you're talking about, first of all, right, a society whereby, for example, because it really wasn't that long ago that women stopped being property in marriage, right? I mean, it was literally legal to beat and rape your wife until 1984, right? I was born in 1984. So that was still technically legal for a little bit of my lifetime. So, that's thing number one. But thing number two was just what women were in society, as far as them not being able to open a bank account on their own and stuff like that. The way that society, I guess we'll say, relegated or restricted women in such a way was that even if she was the only one working and so on and so forth, she needed a man to open that bank account. She needed a man to purchase the house. She needed a man to whatever, not his finances, not like his hard work or whatever, but just the fact that he had, he's got the right package. So that is a little bit of a different circumstance. And I think that those circumstances, to be fair, I don't think that that was right. But here's the thing. Now we don't live in a society where any of that is true, first of all. Second of all, a lot of those women, the reason why they started telling their children stuff like, go get you an education, go and travel around the world now, don't have children young, don't get married young, don't settle down young, it's because they weren't happy with that really unbalanced divide of labor. And the women who were very quite content with traditionalist households and mindsets were ones in which the men automatically divided the labor a little more fairly to accommodate for the fact that both people have to also work outside the home, and the mother is going to come home, take care of the kids and cook and clean up after them and whatever. So he actually did take on more responsibilities in the household to accommodate for the fact that she's also out of the house 40 hours a week. It's the people who never got that automatic response from her husband or her man, right, to say, I should take on a little bit more because you have to work as well, right? That I think those are the women who say, oh, don't settle down too early. Don't settle down with the wrong one. Make sure that you have an education and da 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 and da 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 da, so that way you can take care of stuff.
Right. All right. Well, we have a few people on the panel. Let's hear from Mel. Mel, were you listening to the conversation?
Hey,
Yeah.
Mel.
Hey, Mel. Hey,
Evening.
Young.
Evening.
So, what is your take on what we are talking about?
Well, let's say for example and everything, yeah, we made some points, yeah, because for example, let's say like from the '70s up until at least mid '90s, time when a different world came out and everything, a lot of black people was inspired to go to HBCUs and everything. Um, yeah, both parties have to work, but yeah, the women were probably working part time and stuff, and the men probably either had to work. They was working longer hours, or they took more money making type of jobs and everything that requires more physical labor and stuff like that. And yeah. So it wasn't that stressful if it's in that type of dynamic as much as it is now and stuff like that. Yeah, with two family income, and she was able to still come home. Depending, if she married the right man, she won't be as stressed at coming home from work and still doing what she got to do. Like the image they portrayed on the Cosby Show so much and everything. But
Mm,
people fail to realize if you look deep into that and everything, Claire, was she actually working at an office that she had to go to, or was it in home? Now I know Cliff was in home. His office was mostly, he had an office in the basement of the house he was, and he only went to the hospital when their people was in labor and stuff like that. Yeah, so working late nights, but you can't pay good money, and her being a lawyer and everything. Yeah, she probably wasn't working that many hours like that at the law office or something like that. Yeah, so she was able to come home and still cater to the family like that. The way she's supposed to.
Are you talking about the Huxtables?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So
talk
when
about the image that that people kind of misconstrued a lot because they on both sides, men will use Claire Huxtable as what she can work. She work and take care of the family and everything too and everything. Why can't more women be like her? And they want to use his clip because he's the money making doctor. Like that family down there, two high paid parents, and still have a traditional type of lifestyle. But if they look deep into that, there are some nuances why they can actually do it and stuff. And technically, most people is not going to be able to do it if you kind of understand it, like break a dynamic of that. He could have still had a high paying job. Most of the time, he wasn't in a hospital and stuff. Claire
well, I
wasn't going to the office while law work as much as was. She could probably work remote from home unless she had to do a court case. But she probably was able to come home, still do what she had to do. Most couples
well,
can't be able to pull that off. Like that.
they actually explained the Huxtables, and that's why I use the Huxtables and Fresh Prince specifically as examples for this, because they take the time throughout the show to explain these things.
Mm-hmm.
So when Cliff was in medical school, Claire was the only one working, and she was working full-time and part-time and going to school part-time. And so ultimately, once he was done his residency, because a lot of people don't realize, like, your residency is not paid, it's still education.
Yeah.
Right. And so once he's done that, and then, the expensive undertaking of a fellowship, because a lot of fellowships, you might get a stipend, but they're also not paid positions.
Mm-hmm.
And so Claire was working, and throughout the show, they were both working outside of the household. Actually, because you do go into the office and whatever. What people are seeing is that Claire would then come home and she had work to do at home as well, to prepare for a case or so on and so forth, because
Mm-hmm.
something like a law career, you're doing a lot of work outside of the office as well. And Cliff as well would, other than just when there's a baby delivery, you still have, like, OBs still have a full schedule every single day of seeing those patients, right? From the beginning of pregnancy onward. Plus, a lot of them are also gynecologists. So they were both working full time outside of the house. And at one point, like I said, earlier on in their marriage, Claire was the only one who was working, while Cliff was fully dedicated to pursuing his medical degree.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but those are two people who were two intelligent people, who both had, they were very motivated types who had a clear direction about where they wanted to go and how they wanted to get there. Right. And they were both willing to be diligent about that, penny pinch, be dedicated, like everything you would really need to do to accomplish things.
Exactly.
And I think the majority of people back in I think the majority of people back in the days used to do that, right?
Yeah,
like that was how things were.
Yeah, like her parents and their parents, married couple too. So like it was gonna work out that way, yeah. And being that you used the banks and everything, yeah, like real their backstory, yeah. Like I know an episode they went back with Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian, yeah, like they used to be like into the I would say hoteps, whatever, yeah, protesting, but Phil was still going to law school and stuff like that. Yeah, pursuing up, his degree. I think Vivian was a teacher at the time, also too, before they, became rich the way they was.
Yeah. Well, she's a professor, so that means she had to have gotten at least to her PhD level of studies. I don't remember what her specialty was, but she pursued education for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that season she taught history class and everything. Yeah. So but she, I think she became a, housewife. That's, step housewife for a while also too, because Phil was making a lot of money that way also too. So she know the image, not, I guess with couples like that, they know how to make certain things work, and then they was able to afford a butler and stuff like that with a big house like that. Yeah, but just like you said, like there's a lot of misconceptions where people want to get into relationships. Dudes want this type of lifestyle, but that costs money. That's a responsibility level you got to have. And if you want that traditional lifestyle, you got to, you know what I'm saying? You got, like they always saying, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. And that's one of them. And stuff. If you want your woman to stay home and stuff like that, yeah, you got to, be the breadwinner for everything.
Yeah, you got to be high value for that.
I always tell some dudes this.
No,
like,
you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. What up, Mel? What's going on?
What up, young man?
What's good? I always tell some dudes this, like, if you feel a certain way if your woman working, then you know what you need to make come up with a business that makes enough money that you can employ your wife and everything, and she won't have to work
What's
from
that?
the job that she's at. You know everything. Yeah, that's another advantage you can have. Hire your wife and start that.
Oh, let
So
me ask you a question, Mel. Do you think it's fair that a woman and a man have to go to work and then a woman have to come home and still take care of home? Do you think that's fair?
depends how long that man is working. If he's like a truck driver and everything, yeah, that takes a lot of hours. So most likely she gonna be home before he is. So it's like whoever, yeah, but I feel as this whoever gets home first, work the shortest hours. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that home take care of.
Don't
Okay.
they both do work in the house though? I could have sworn like the dude mowed the lawn and shit, they fix shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And the woman,
that's on
she,
days off.
Well, and
huh?
that's what I was saying, right? I was saying that the women who were, still traditionalist in mindset, and the men, right? But ultimately, the men who said, well, yeah, if my wife also has to work full time, just like I have to work full time, then it's on me to take some of the responsibilities of home off of her because she's also out of the house 40 to 60 hours a week. That's
Exactly.
crazy, right?
I think
It's the
it's
ones
crazy.
who don't think that way and who say, I don't
I
care.
think
Oh, this is woman's work.
I don't like a woman working 40 hours with the man. I think she need to reduce her hours.
Well, the
Exactly.
I
problem
think
is you can say that in theory, right? But when we're talking about, income, right, versus desired, at least middle class lifestyle and how much that costs, especially when you add a kid or two to the mix, right? The reality is that while most people maybe would prefer not to have the wife work or the wife would prefer not to work, the reality is you might need two full incomes coming in order for you to maintain that life. And that's what often
okay,
ends up happening.
you're a stay-at-home wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have sex more with your husband because you stay at home?
No,
So you're not giving him more pussy than if you were going to work for 40 hours?
no,
Then you suck.
not really.
What?
Oh my God.
How is it's not
Fuck.
is he home more often because I don't work?
No, I'm
Like,
saying if he's working 40 hours and you're not, by the fact that you're not working 40 hours, you should have more energy to give him more pussy than if you
not
were working
really.
40 hours.
Not really,
Then
because
you
what
suck.
people okay, you can say that all you want. What people fail to realize is that when you're out there as a human being, right, and you're pursuing things and you are physically active, moving about a lot and whatever, right, that it actually stirs up adrenaline, it stirs up your estrogen, it stirs up your testosterone, it stirs up a variety of hormones in your
For you or
body
him. For you or him.
for men and women. That's why I said people.
So
So
I
are
wouldn't say
you
that.
so you're no, I want to know are you like an entrepreneur, like you're working and stuff, or you just at home?
I you literally asked if I was a stay-at-home wife, and I said yes.
Okay, so I don't know why you're bringing up that other
You
extra.
would if you let me finish what I was
No,
saying.
because you're
But
not making sense. What I'm
how
telling
could I
you
make
is
sense after my first four words? Like that's the
you're not
problem with you.
going,
You don't
but
listen.
you're not going anywhere though. You're not
How
going
would you
anywhere.
know that
I'm
if you
telling
don't let
you
me finish?
by how you started. That's how I know.
That makes
And
no
like I,
sense at all.
yeah, it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of
Okay.
sense. I
Of
just
course it
don't
does.
understand how you're a wife and you don't have any children, right?
You
And you
clearly
stay
don't
at home
understand.
all
That's true. You don't.
you
And
stay,
nor do you want to understand.
no,
That's
I
the
do want to
problem.
understand.
But you
I'm
don't.
just
Because
putting
I'm
all the
trying to
facts on
explain
the
it and you
table.
don't want to hear it. So then
I'm
obviously
gonna
you don't want to
let you
understand.
talk. I'm gonna let you talk. Even if it don't make no sense, I'm gonna let you talk. But what I'm saying is this: you don't have any children, and you don't work for shit. And when I mean for shit, you're not even an entrepreneur or nothing like that. So all you really do is stay at home, and you don't give up pussy like that. That is crazy to me. Now
Actually,
you
that's
could
not what
try.
I said at all. That's actually not
That's
what I
what
said at
you.
all. What
That
did
is
you
what you
ask?
agreed on. That's
No,
what you
no,
agreed on. I asked the
no. What
question,
you asked,
and
Young
you
East? What
agreed
did
on
you
it.
ask? Young East, what did you
I
ask?
asked, I asked, are you giving him more pussy because you stay at home versus if you were working 40 hours?
Right.
And
And
you
I
was like,
said
no.
no.
And
And
so
I said
you
no.
agreed on it.
Right.
You don't give him more pussy. That's the
But
problem.
I don't give him
But you
more
stay at
than when
home
I
all
work.
the time.
Okay, I said I don't give him more than when I worked or went to school, right? But see, the thing is that what you never established in there anywhere is how much pussy I give him, period, right? So that is
How
in
much
and of
pussy are
itself
you
is the
giving him,
problem.
Ruby?
As much as he wants, which was true
Cat.
while I worked, while I went to school, and while I'm home
That's
now.
cat.
The only time, you can say whatever you want. The only
You cat.
time, okay, the only time that isn't the case is when my medical conditions are flaring up to the point where I'm literally bedridden or, you know, in and out of the hospital, because in that case, obviously, I'm not really sexually active at all because I'm very unwell. But other than that, yeah, that's literally what the case is, and that's what the case always was. And
So
it
how
didn't
many
really matter
times
if I
do
was
you
going
give
to
it up
school.
for? How many times you give it up in a week?
It doesn't matter because it's not a,
You
Yeah,
hear
let me
this?
say this,
Yo, y'all hear
youngie.
this shit?
No,
She don't
let me
bust it
say this.
open for shit.
Let me say this, youngie. She says she's sick. She has medical issues, so it's not
When? Not
easy.
all the time. Not
It's
all the
not.
time.
right. And
It's not.
so when I'm not sick, then it's not about how many times I give it up. It's about how many times he wants something. Because again, it's not about me. I'm not really the deciding factor.
I just asked you a rough estimate of how much times you bust it open, and you
It
just
depends.
danced around it.
No, because it depends. It's not the see, I don't know. Maybe it's because married people, like unmarried people, don't understand married life. But like the reality is that depending on a variety of factors, which is what I was trying to explain
My
earlier,
God.
right? What I was trying to explain earlier was that when you're out on the road, when you're pursuing things and whatever, it stimulates a variety of different hormones, adrenaline, whatever
Yeah.
inside of your system. If you're going to keep interrupting me, you're never going to get to the
I'm
point
not
where you
interrupted.
understand that I'm
I'm
saying
listening to
something.
you. I swear to
Okay,
God, I'm
perfect.
trying to listen to you.
Okay. So what ends up happening then, right, is based on his level of interest, motivation, riled upness or not, right? He might be, man, at 11 all day, every day. He walks through the door, he's at 11. He takes a nap, he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's at 11. And then there are times where, you know what? He's not on that. He just wants to chill and play PlayStation, right? And so since I'm not the person who's working, I'm not the one who's going out there and facing the world and whatever, my job and my role as his wife, right, is to provide what it is that he needs, not to keep up a particular standard that you would find acceptable for how many times a week he should want to have sex. It's not about that. It's about fulfilling his wants and his needs
And
as they
that's what
evolve, as
I'm
they change,
talking
as they come
about.
about. That's what being a wife is about.
A lot of women over explain a whole lot of stuff when you ask them a regular ass question. All right? He's a man just like me, just like anybody else. Okay? So I ask you a simple question. How many times do you think y'all go a week?
I
And
don't
you
know.
was like,
Well, no, because
you like all over the fucking place.
she said she's not well all of the time.
Right. Well,
Sometimes she's
actually, no,
sick.
fuck all
Her
that.
health
You know
is
what? Not
bad.
only am I not well right now, but fuck that. We've been homeless because of a flood that fucked up our lives for the last 3 weeks. So, you know what? Realistically, no, I don't have a really great gauge of the last 3 weeks and how many times we had sex and whatever, because we've had bigger fucking problems. So, it's not like I can pull off of the last 3 weeks of my
Nigga,
life and
trigger,
say, well, given the last 3 weeks, no, because the last 3 weeks of
baby.
my life have been a
All
whole,
right,
no,
baby.
I'm not done. The last 3 weeks of my
Go
life have
ahead,
been a
sweetheart.
holy
I'm so
hell.
sorry.
So
I'm so
therefore, what
sorry.
I'm saying is it depends, it matters, whatever. These various circumstances are going to affect his libido, right? What I'm saying that me as a wife, the way that I am, is that I'm here to fulfill his needs. So it depends on him, right? And right now, what we're going through has not necessitated a lot of alone time or private time or clean time, honestly. I mean, shit, right now we moved back into our water wrecked condo because everywhere else that we tried to be was worse over 3 weeks. At one point, we were sleeping in a goddamn car for 10 days, 11 days, 12 days. I slept in a
So
computer
you're
chair.
not going to
So at
answer
the
the
end of the
question.
day, as of right now,
She's
the last
answering the
three
question.
weeks, as of the last 3 weeks, neither one of us had much of a libido or even a thought or
That's
time or energy
bullshit.
for sex. However,
That's bull.
however,
It's bullshit.
however, at better times, in life, like I said, sometimes he's on 11 and it's 2-3 times a day. In fact, people who know me from the back chats, right? Like when the Discord groups I'm in and whatever, people would know, man, when Mr. Rubes woke up, Ruby's going. Why is she going? Because, she's going to be busy right now because he woke up. When he wakes up, he wants it. That's just what it is. So at the end of the day, you can make up whatever bullshit you want about my life. I'm telling you the reality of the situation. Just because you've never lived through the responsibilities and the pressures of being someone's husband and then shit going wrong and whatever, for you to understand that shit can wane and wax and vary, is not my fault or my responsibility. I'm telling you what it is.
You successfully filibustered the fucking question. If that's what you were trying to do. Like, I lost like 20% fucking interest.
I don't give a shit. I don't speak up here so you can be interested. I speak up here so the audience can hear what we're saying.
I'm keeping in the buck. Ruby's telling some truth, Easy. She told you a whole story, man. If you was in the same position as her, homeless and everything, with your wife, stressed as hell, you wouldn't even be thinking about busting a nut like that at all. Trying to smash your wife because you're trying to get a home to smash your wife in and stuff.
Facts.
If I was married to Ruby in a situation like that, I wouldn't even be thinking about sex like that. I'm trying to get us a home first so we can get back.
Do you honestly think I was talking about these past 3 weeks she was in, or was I talking about the duration of her marriage? And number one, number two,
I'm gonna get to that now. This part also too, and everything. Now this part also too. When you're married also too, and everything. There's a difference between married couples and sexless marriages versus those who probably might not have sexless but because of work reasons and everything. If you're in a sexless marriage, those are marriages like when both parties just high and by, not romantically really interested in each other. They probably have sex like once a month or something like that, once every 2 months.
Yeah, that's terrible, nigga.
Exactly, that's terrible. But those like certain situations.
So what I was saying was, a nigga's always gonna want at least a blowjob, especially from a chick that's not working. Okay, she ain't doing that like that. I guess I don't know. But what I'm saying is, But I was saying this. I said I guess. I didn't say she wasn't. What I'm saying is this. She's just bringing up these past, couple weeks. Nigga, I'm talking about the whole entire relationship. I said, how many times y'all smashed? It could have been within this year. And she couldn't even give me like a rough estimate or anything.
No, I couldn't.
You giving out scarce pussy to a nigga that's providing.
You giving out scarce pussy. That's your dumbass interpretation.
But you is though, because you didn't answer. So
that's your ignorant, uninformed interpretation.
She says she gives her man some when he wants it.
When he wants it. There you go.
That's the yes.
A nigga always want it though.
That's not true. Maybe that's you, bro. Maybe that's you, bro.
She said when he wants it.
That's men. What the fuck are you talking about? That's me, nigga. That's dudes. They always want at least a blowjob. What are you talking about? So you don't.
But she still said. She still said when he wants it. So if he wants a blowjob, she'd give it to him. She give it to him.
Exactly.
Don't want to get married now because the corny shit like this, niggas.
You want to be in
nobody want to get married because of corny shit like this. Nobody want to get married because of corny shit like this.
Let me ask you a question.
Working, and she's not even a freak, huh?
Okay. You interpret it however you want, but I tell you, my husband is deliriously happy, dumbass.
What freakiness like that? You're not a husband. Are you a husband?
I'm a nigga just like he is, though.
But I don't even know.
He's a man. He's a married man, not some nigga on the street who gets horny and thinks about blowjobs 24/7. He's a grown ass man with responsibilities as a husband wanting to take care of his family and life.
I ain't talking to you.
He's a grown ass motherfucking man.
Because
I'm
listening to Mel because Mel's another dude. Mel,
and he's saying the same shit.
He ain't saying the same thing.
Let me ask Mel a question. Hold on, because I haven't really got a word, and I want to ask Mel a question. Mel, if you were married, I know you're not, and have you ever been married, first of all?
Nah, I've never been married.
Okay, so if you were married, does it matter how many times you have sex? Like, would you want it all the time?
Yeah, that's why I discussed all that before I get married. But I really don't expect it every day and everything. Like, there gonna be certain factors that just like Ruby said, what if she go through a health position and everything like that? I'm at this
Right.
little
I was gonna
place.
say. So what if your wife had bad health? Would you expect it from her every day?
No, of course. I want her to heal up first so we can get into the mood again. That's me. I
Right.
don't understand that. I
See,
thought
easy.
And
So what about you,
you've
youngies?
been
The same question goes to you, youngies. If you were married and your wife had health problems, would you expect it every day?
see, in Ruby's case, like I said, her health problems is when it happens. It flares up when it happens. I don't know her problems. You feel me? But if she's healthy enough to have sex, then we having sex. You feel me? So, like I said, she has no children, and he's providing, and all she does is stay home. We need to be fucking like every other day, and on the days we don't fuck, I want a blowjob. So it's very sexually active, and I speak for every man when I say that shit. So that's why I said that's why a lot of dudes don't want to get married because you'll be in a relationship, you'll provide for a woman. She don't even necessarily got to bear you children,
What
but
is
she not
that?
even fucking like
Face?
Oh, it's a hand. That's
Oh,
a hand, right?
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried
Who
about
was
this.
that?
Best man for the job? Oh, okay.
That's
You have a face. I was scared
Oh,
we were
yeah,
going
I
to see
was
something else
scared
with that
too.
hand move, right? Yeah. Okay.
letting
hey,
random
man.
niggas up.
I forgot to
Who
put the
man's
Dan
is
on.
that? You know him, Melody? Some
Yeah,
random nigga?
No.
No, but he's here. We can see his face.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
he's good. We can see
crazy
his
got
face.
something.
I don't think he's shady. Let me ask him, hey, best man for the job.
What's up?
What's up? So what is your take on all of this?
I mean, I just got here and I'm new on the channel, so y'all need to fill me in.
Oh, welcome.
Yes. Thank you for arriving. Basically, well, where we are now in the discussion, we're talking about I'm a stay-at-home wife, okay? And my husband is the one who goes out and works. And so what I said was that our sex life and how much sex we have is dependent on how often he wants it, which is not consistent. But other than that, sometimes it could be twice, 3 times a day. Sometimes it could be 2, 3 times a week. But the only caveat to that is I do have some health conditions. So when they flare up and I'm at my worst, then obviously we're not having sex then because I'm bedridden. So that's basically what I said. Young Yi said that there's no way that a man's sex drive can vary to the point that he won't want to have at least sex, at least a blowjob every single day. And if she's a stay-at-home wife, she better be sucking his dick or having sex
I
with
didn't
him
say
at
this
least
again.
every single day. So what
Every
is
other
your
day.
take on that?
Every other day,
Well,
blowjob.
well, I will say that set gotta constantly happen to keep the marriage flowing. Sometimes when y'all have that good sex and y'all nut up in each other, that juice gotta be real wet and dry. So
What the fuck is going on, bro?
Hey,
Dudes,
Rosberg.
incels, yo, what's good, yo? Sound like incels trying to get their
Hey,
shit off. Wow,
Rosberg.
weird. Anyway, yo, easy. Let me explain something to you, man. You've never been married, and you coming on here sitting up there talking about Ruby. She has a whole health condition,
You
fam.
said I'm
So
not
how,
married.
bro? Are you're not married now, are you?
I've been in a relationship for like 5, 6 years.
Nigga, that's not married, bro.
That's pretty much married,
That's
motherfucker.
not married. Did you put a ring on her
Pretty much
finger?
married,
No,
nigga.
it's not. Yo, are you dead, Tardo, fam?
No,
That's
you
not married, bro.
How
I
was
don't
it
count.
not? How was it not?
Bro, you did not put a ring on her finger, fam.
That
Y'all
don't mean
didn't know
shit.
Yo, Bronx Wi-Fi and Easy, Young East, both of y'all don't make sense right now, fam. Listen to me, bro.
Okay, you make all the sense
That's
in the world.
right. That's right,
Make the
bro.
sense.
That's a facts, bro. Listen,
Make
bro.
the sense, bro.
Young East.
sit down, man. What the fuck?
Yo, I
Yo,
told you about your
echo,
Bronx
echo,
Wi-Fi. Cut that shit out.
fucking internet, yo. Word.
Rosberg, you are kind of loud.
Yo, I'm loud though.
Your mic is kind of
Oh, my
loud.
fault. My joint is like Mel's right now. My fault. Is it good, right? Yo, is it good now?
But talk
It's
again.
okay.
Yo.
You still loud, but
Go
you're
ahead,
right.
bro.
Youngie,
Damn, what's good with my settings, fam?
turn
Shit.
your mic up because
I'm
you're low, Youngie.
sorry. I didn't mean
My
for
mic
mine to
is
be
low?
this loud. This is crazy.
Yeah,
Nah,
you're really
listen.
low.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
Oh,
hold on. You hear me?
Yeah,
go
we hear
ahead,
you.
bro.
All right, listen. Yo, Young East. You've been in a relationship for 5 years. That does not mean you was married. Ruby actually is married to the man she's with. So you cannot compare your relationship for 5 to 6 years to Ruby's marriage. You understand that, right? Now, get into what I was talking about. Listen, get into what I was talking about. You really don't understand the situation. She has a health condition. So how is she going to be able to give her man to blowy? Yes, she has a condition.
I know she said that already. We already covered that. We already established that.
So
I said when it flares up, then you can't do it. We already talked about that.
Okay. But you act as if in a relationship or marriage, she can also do it when she wants to, bro. It's not always about the.
She should want to, bro.
Okay, when she wants to, bro. She can't always do all the time.
Nigga. She got all the time in the world.
And so you expect? Okay. Oh, hold on. So you expect? So. Listen, bro. So you expecting your shorty that's married, right? She has to do it every day when she's not flaring up on a condition she has. Is that what you telling me?
Yes, nigga. That's her only duty. She don't have kids or nothing.
Bro, so she can't have a break sometimes, my dude?
Oh my God. This nigga said a break.
Y'all like that ass?
When I bust a nut and I'm done, then that's her break, nigga.
Yo, Young East, this is why you was in that fake marriage you had for 5 to 6 years. You don't understand, young blood. You just don't get it. You just don't get it, bro.
Not to mention, there's other things to do in life besides either go to work or go home and have sex.
Man, if you want
that was a good one.
That's telling you your job is getting wet that way, so she get into the mood to want to give you something like that. Can't expect her to
say that again, Mel. Because
that is your job to get her wet interest so she can have sex with you that many times that you want it.
Take it from Mel. He smashed his crackheads off the 5 train. He's right.
Listen, the thing is, Mel. The thing is, if she got the thing is, if you paying all the bills,
that's right.
You paying all the bills. You giving her shit. You're providing for her, and she don't want to have sex like that. That's weird to me.
But who said
How is that not
weird?
Who said that?
I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. You think some man want to have sex every single day when he's working, trying to take care of the house?
Well, I'm not trying to smash every day, fam. I don't care.
Every day,
I need a break, bro. Yo, I smashed the shorty like 4 times in a row. My ass went to sleep, bro.
Man,
if I'm the breadwinner to take care of the family and everything, all I want is at least 4 times a week. That is it.
Yeah.
But every day, I need some rest days. Lord, as you get older too,
why you exaggerating?
As you get older too, your body changes as a man. You ain't gonna have as much testosterone as much as you think you do also too. So you think you'll be able to smash every day?
Why you exaggerating? We're not doing no absolute bullshit. You talking about busting a nut every day? Nobody got enough nut for every day.
That's what you're saying, brother. You don't really want to smash every damn day. I'm telling you realistically. Don't you want to smash every day if he's working so much the way he is?
Who said that? Who said we busting a nut every day?
You alluded it. You alluded to it. You alluded the whole shit.
Yo, New York niggas, man.
Damn, you from New York too. You know how we do.
Nah, I'm different. I'm bougie New York. I don't know you niggas.
I'm from New York. I can tell.
Nah, I live in Midtown.
Bro, I think he's from Yonkers, man, or Westchester.
From Yonkers. Westchester. Y'all know I'm bougie. I don't know y'all. I chill in Soho. Fuck out of here.
In suburbs, man.
I chill in Midtown. Fuck out of here, man. Soho.
Spanish Harlem.
Nah, he ain't Spanish Harlem. He from
Jamaica Queen.
Listen, I could be in Spanish Harlem, Boricua. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Que lo que, dímelo. That's Washington Heights.
Washington
Manor area.
Fancy white people up there. That's that Bronx right there.
But Young East, do you understand it now? Have you comprehended, or you need some more notes, my friend?
Have I comprehended what, nigga? What did you say?
You didn't hear a word I told you, bro.
You ain't made no sense. You just try to. I guess you just said, "Oh, you haven't been married," and that was your biggest flex. Like, "Oh, you haven't been married." Okay. But
no, you have so you don't know the fundamentals of a marriage because you've been in a fake marriage for 5 to 6 years. Because you claim it.
You believe that a
Uh-huh.
bitch that's not working,
Right.
got no kids, could
Uh-huh.
withhold pussy on the
Yeah,
regular,
for the
nigga.
Uh-huh.
I guess you gonna get
So
cheated on and shit, 'cause I don't see how that's straight.
nah. My dick game too good for that. That's a different story. You're not gonna talk about that. Listen, what you
Okay,
don't
so
understand is Ruby, even though her vag might be valuable to a man, you don't realize that every time she doesn't have a flare up, she doesn't have to have sex with him. She doesn't
nigga,
have to
did we
all
not
that.
just establish that?
No, you didn't establish that
Talking
because you
about
kept
bringing up
going
her
on.
fucking medical condition. Nobody's talking about her medical condition.
Bro, you expect her to fuck every day if it's not for the medical condition. That's
Nobody,
literally what you
she
said.
can't fuck every day. She has a medical condition. We already said
Nigga,
that.
you did not say that, fam.
Oh my god.
Go sit down somewhere.
Yo, I
Well,
am sitting
easy. Let
down,
me
nigga. What the fuck?
Go
easy.
stand up
Let me ask
somewhere.
you, easy. Let me ask you something.
I
Okay, let
can't.
me ask you something. We gonna use a single bachelor and a famous bachelor. Do you think
y'all
Drake fucks every day? You think rapper Drake fuck
Nobody
every
fucks
single
every
day?
day,
I don't
man.
know.
Why y'all being extra?
Drake has a baby.
Guys, I think we should let Dr. Eugene Steele get in
Yeah,
because
go
he's been
ahead.
up
Yeah,
here
let
for a
the
little
brother
while now.
talk. 'Cause niggas been-
Hi, Dr. Eugene.
Hey, how
Welcome.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, I'm
Hi.
doing fine.
So what's on your mind?
You know, I hear these guys talking about, people want to, screw every day, but let's be real, okay? Not everybody's going to feel like doing it every day. I mean, I have been in relationships where, my girl expect me to do it every day. I mean, she wanted to do it 1 million times a day. I couldn't do it, okay? Just think about when you're getting into a marriage, okay? There were days, I'm not gonna feel like doing it. There were days she's not gonna feel like doing it either. Okay. We just gonna have to, make sure the mood is right. And believe me, from my end, I know how to get the mood going. I want it to be, really, really special. Not just get in the bed, bam, 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 bam all the time. No, that's not how I handle it.
Yeah. Sometimes you want a quickie because you want a little wham bam,
That's
thank
the
you,
bam
ma'am, and
bam
you got
bam
10
bro.
minutes. It is what it is, right? Like, I mean, and that's kind of the point I was trying to make. Like, life varies. And your energy levels, your mood, what you even are in the mood for. Like, there are times, like I said, the man will come home and he just wants PlayStation. He wants a PlayStation and chill, and like he wants me to be somewhere that's nowhere near him. And there's other times where he wants me to be just cuddled up on him and whatever because he had a hard day and he just wants to be able to not have to be hard out there in the world.
Mhm.
And then there are times where like I could look in a big baggy t-shirt, I feel like I look scruffy, he's like baby as soon as he walks through the door, right? Like, I mean, it varies. And this is what I'm trying to say. Being a wife is not about fulfilling the concept of what every man out there thinks, right? It's about fulfilling your man. It's about fulfilling your husband's needs,
Mhm.
your husband's desires. It's about you taking care of your role as is set out by what your husband needs from you, right? So like even like the concept of, oh, she don't do shit all day. No, I don't go to work, right? I cook, I clean, I do all the laundry, I
Good.
organize
Ain't
all
much
kinds
to
of shit.
do.
I'm the one who organizes and sets our lives. Like, there's a lot of other things to do in life other than go to work and come home, right? I'm the one who is micromanaging our savings and planning and whatever. I do a lot of other things in our household for the household and for him individually, right?
Mhm.
But then there are things that I do outside of that. I do have other things to do. But my point is, when I'm talking about for our marriage, for us, right? He's the one who goes out and he works every day. I don't, because I haven't been able to do that because of my health, right? I had to stop schooling because of my health, and my health is too inconsistent for me to keep something in a long-term kind of way, right? But that being said, my role is not to fulfill anything except for fulfilling him, his wants, his needs, his desires, right? So it's about him. So that's why I said, he's the one who has to go out there and work 40, 50 hours a week. So I'm looking to fulfill what he wants at the end of the day. When he walks through the door, it's not about what I want, what I need. It's about what he wants and what he needs. right? Including like think just listening a little bit. He's like, man, I wish I could have my mom's meatloaf or some shit, and I figured out how to make some meatloaf from his hometown. Like, I mean, I just do random little things as well to be considerate. Or, you know, like just, oh, I notice his stuff has holes in it. I'm going to sit there and just sew them up and whatever, because I know those are his favorite work pants or his favorite this and that. Like, it's just little things that you take care of as a wife, other than his sexual needs, which is also something you should be taking care of as a wife. I'm not
That's
saying
the main
that you're
thing.
not. But no, see, that's the thing. As an unmarried man, I totally understand why that's a huge priority, and it seems to be drowning out all
That's
the
bullshit.
others.
You don't got
Right?
shit to do being married.
But as a person in a marriage, right, what I can say for sure is that things like sex, very basic. Very basic. Like that's like it's so basic if that's the only
You
thing
don't
that
do
you're
it.
fulfilling. If
You
the
don't
only
get it,
thing that
young
you're
buck.
fulfilling is sex, that's not a marriage, and it's not going to last long term. There's no way.
You give your man basic sex?
What?
Yeah, I fulfill all of his basic sexual needs.
No, you
yes.
said the sex is very basic. You give him basic sex?
I said
Like
fulfilling
missionary-
sexual
But
needs.
Easy,
is
why are you
basic.
concerned?
That's basic.
It sounds
Yeah,
corny.
man.
Like
You
if
give
that's
him
some
that
basic
vanilla
bitch
shit.
shit.
Why are you concerned?
Anyone can spread their
Why
legs
wouldn't I
and
be
fulfill
concerned?
sexual needs.
Why wouldn't I be concerned? That's fucked up.
How,
You can't ask a
bro?
bitch
You're
to
not
be
married
basic.
to
I
her,
lay
fam.
there
Let me ask you,
Right.
let me
You're
ask you
not
something.
young
Any
buck.
basic
Being
bitch
that
can
sex
spread
is
her
the
legs.
biggest
That's what
You
it
calling
is.
me young buck?
priority
How old
to
are you? You fucking 60? You 60 calling me young buck? Because I'm fucking 33, nigga. You think
That's
yo,
right,
young
young
buck,
buck.
nigga?
Easy, you
How
something.
old are you,
Can I
nigga?
ask a question?
Young
How old are you?
buckwheat.
You're still young buck to
Young-
me.
How old are you? How old are you?
Can I ask
60?
a
Young
question?
buckwheat.
You 60?
Listen here, home slice.
But young
Listen,
East, let
listen,
me okay, young East, let me
my
ask you something, young
old
East. Let
man.
me
Yeah,
ask you
go ahead,
something.
man.
Okay, being that you feel like
Home
90%
slice.
sex is important to you in the marriage, so you would rather be married to a woman who's not a nurturer, can't cook, can't even clean, but she gives good head and dome.
Can I ask a question?
Head and dome is
Say
the
that
same
again, Mel.
thing.
You said she can't cook.
You know,
Well,
yeah.
real
All
quick,
she can
I
do is
want to
what?
hear. I want to hear from the
She
new
can get
people on the
she get a
Yeah.
good
panel.
head.
I
Yo,
wanna
Mel.
Find
No,
that
easy.
you
Hold
cook
on,
like
bro.
I
never
want to
voted
hear.
before.
I want to
Hold on,
hear
Mel.
from the new panel people on the panel. Slim Duncan had a question. Go
I
ahead,
have
And
a
then
Slim
we're gonna
Duncan.
let
question. Hey,
Pastor
I
jump in.
Melody.
want
Hey,
him to answer my
Ruby.
question real quick though.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh my
everybody on the
God.
panel. I just want
Hi,
to ask a
Slim.
question.
Hey, Slim.
If Ruby already said that she give it up to her man whenever he wants it, right? Other than when her medical issue, whenever she has a flare from whatever medical issue that she's dealing with, what is the argument?
Right.
What?
Bunch of
What is that?
swamis not making sense.
What's
Exactly.
the argument? I think that's for you, youngies. What's the
Yeah, no, I'm
argument?
saying it's not making sense because she already said that I give it up to my husband whenever he wants it,
Okay, yeah.
other than
Okay, I'm back. All right,
when
I'm
I
back.
have a flare
How
up.
many
Exactly.
times? How many times is that though? That's what I asked earlier. I was like,
It,
oh, how many times you do it? And then she started,
well,
When did? How many
because
times you do it?
you're asking a personal question.
And
If
she
her
was willing to
husband,
answer it. And she was
but
willing to answer it.
if
So
her
I
Foxy
asked
husband
her,
so
and then she
loud.
started
if her
stuttering.
husband only wants it, if her
Oh
husband
my.
only wants it
I'm outside. I'm
twice a
outside.
week
That's
or
why. I'm
three
outside.
times a week or whatever, then that's between her and her husband. But if she gives it up to him whenever he wants it, other than when she's having medical
Because
issues,
she
then
don't, nigga.
there
It's
is no
cap. That's why.
argument. No, you're just
Are
looking
you
See,
for a
looking
reason
Cap.
to
for
That's
invalidate
why.
her.
there?
You're just looking for a reason to
ah,
invalidate
Right.
her.
Exactly. She
Exactly. How you
capping.
gonna
That's
call
why.
us? How you feel she capping? Was you
Because I
there?
just did,
Was
nigga.
you peeking out the
I
window
just
watching
did.
them how many times they
bro,
smashed
it's
it?
wild
Was she
loud,
giving
Because
fam.
head
I
like a
just
voyager?
did. I just did. Because
You was looking at
she
her
started
like some creepy looking
filibustering. Hold
voyager
on, nigga.
son,
She
man.
started talking all around the question. She started filibustering.
No,
So I
she
was like, oh,
didn't.
I don't believe your
No, she
No,
bullshit.
she
didn't.
didn't,
That's why.
bro.
Because I
No,
said it.
she
I
That's
don't
didn't.
have
why.
to
It,
give
it
you full
depends.
No,
details
she
of
didn't,
that
bro.
stuff, man. Like that's
Now,
weird,
she
man.
don't
I was
fuck
listening
like
to the
that,
whole
Mel.
thing. How do you know
Yeah,
that?
She
You
yeah,
been
don't
in the
fuck
bed with
like
her?
that.
No,
She don't.
no woman because
No, I hate your Bronx Wi-Fi.
Mel, she
detailed
don't
questions like
fuck.
that. Would you
no
want
because
some random dude to ask your wife detailed questions like that?
I don't give a
to
fuck
give you
what
a
her
play
man
by
think, nigga. I
play
said what I
rundown.
said.
No
I
woman is
said
gonna
what
give
I
you a
said.
play
I
by
don't give
Talking
a
play
about
fuck
you,
what her
rundown of
man
her
Easy.
think, nigga.
story.
We
No
have
woman
I'm
is
people
gonna
talking
on
do
about
that.
you,
panel.
Easy. Would you want your
Okay,
wife?
what about me
You want
though?
some
What about
random
me?
dude to ask your wife those detailed
Why is he
questions
I
like
so
don't
that?
give
loud?
a fuck, nigga. I'm
You don't
You
get to talk.
on no panel?
Guys, we have people on the
You think I'm talking to?
panel.
Yo,
I'm sitting
one
here
mic.
talking to random
I'm
niggas
trying to
on the
talk.
panel,
One
nigga.
mic.
We think
Yo,
I'm
one
actually
mic.
doing that?
One mic. One
I'm
mic.
trying to
Yo,
speak.
chill.
I'm trying to speak. I want to hear from Classy Young Man. I want to hear from everybody in the panel. What's your take on this, Classy?
She don't fuck, nigga.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I mean, if you want my overall stance on it,
Yes.
I could say the way East is approaching the situation, it'll be a quick divorce.
Yeah,
I
'cause
love
she
you,
don't,
brother.
she don't
I
fuck,
love
so
you,
you gotta
brother, but
slap her ass.
I love you, brother, but I'm just saying we're talking about a marriage
It's
union. It
facts.
doesn't
I'm
work
a
in the
classy
same
man.
concept
It's
of
facts.
just a
Once a
regular
chick
Me
don't fuck, that's a
relationship.
quick divorce. There's nothing wrong
I'm
with
a
Yeah,
that.
but
classic
at the same
man.
time, well, the reason why I say this, East, is because the way you're approaching the situation. The lady said she had
Right.
a medical condition, and it
Oh,
comes
here
off
we
as
go again.
She gotta
what
fuck when she's off a medical condition.
I have to
Here
go
we
off.
go again.
I have to go off what she said, and I
No,
work in the
we
medical
already
field.
established that though.
Why are you so
Meaning,
aggressive?
but listen to what that's where I was going to go,
Bronzeberg,
Bronzeberg.
be
I'm
quiet.
like, you
That's
have
not
this
my shit, nigga.
This
aggressive,
aggressiveness, yo.
barbaric. Oh, give it to me. It's like,
Very,
You're off your
very,
medication. Like, let's
you
go.
my
very.
dude. I'm like, you
Asshole.
man.
That's Young East right now, yo.
But what
Nah.
overall, East,
Y'all make. I
I know
never.
you're clowning a
We
little bit.
already
I'm
made
just
that.
saying.
He is.
Well,
We
I know you're
already.
clowning. Well, hold up. I know you're clowning a little bit, but it comes off like inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
classy
all
young
I'm
man.
saying. But go ahead,
Thank
y'all
you.
continue. I gotta go because
Melody,
I'm black,
you and me.
y'all,
I'm trying to
And
talk.
I'm
Melody,
black,
I'm
y'all.
trying to
And
talk
I'm
to you.
blickety black, y'all.
that was from yesterday's show.
That's
For the
dope.
record, El Hombre,
Melody,
hold on, I
I'm
just want
trying
to
to
answer
talk
this,
to you.
guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to answer this. El Hombre Negro. It says her man or husband not on here saying it is a problem. No, he's actually lying next to me. And at one point, he wanted me to get off the panel altogether because he did not
You
appreciate
should.
the
And go
disrespect
fuck him.
coming
Period.
towards me for me just
Period.
being
Exactly.
open
Oh
and
my
honest,
God,
as
And
Young
you
open
should
and
get
honest
off
East.
as
and go
I'm
fuck
Shout
being.
him.
out to your
And I
husband.
had to
Exactly.
Shout
Young
tell him
East.
out
that no,
to
there's
your
other
husband.
dudes on here who are being respectful and are listening, and not just trying to drag my name through the mud for no reason when I've
Shout out to
clearly
your
stated
husband.
things plainly. So, and he said, all right, cool. But if it gets to that point again, you're getting off of this bullshit. So,
Right.
no,
You
my husband's
should. You
not on
should
here
get off.
Shout
complaining
out to
because he
your
knows I'm
husband.
being
Yo,
fully
Young
open
East,
and
you about to
honest.
get your ass whooped on
Exactly.
StreamYard, bro,
At the
because you
end of the
talk too
day,
much,
at the
man.
end of the day, not all men
Who go
marry.
with you? Go with Miles
Not all. At the
Bronzeberg?
end of the
I'm
day,
not
not
Hold on,
all
saying
hold on. I
men.
want to
me.
hear what
At
Slim
the
Duck is
Classic
end of the
saying. What
day,
you
Ruby.
were saying, Slim Duck?
at the end of the day, not all men marry women just for what's between their legs. And
You'll
I
be
think
surprised,
that's
honey.
just no.
You'll
I'm not saying. I'm not saying. I didn't
you'll
say
be
all
surprised,
men.
honey.
I
She
said
said
not
the
all
dumbest thing
men.
on
She
the
said not
panel
all
today.
men.
Stop. Hold
I
on.
said
Let
not.
her
I
finish.
said
Let her
not all
finish.
men.
She said
Believe it or
some
not,
men.
women actually have other qualities other than sex that they can bring to a relationship and to a
Yep.
marriage. And
Facts.
what Ruby is saying on the panel, the fact that I don't get it. She just said whenever her
So I
husband
take
wanted,
it you
she
don't
give
fuck
it.
either, huh, Slim? You
Oh
don't
my
fuck that
God.
much
I
either,
don't.
huh?
Oh my God, yo.
Listen.
Here
That's
we
why you
go.
Let's be
defending me.
This
Listen,
respectful
I'm gonna tell
on
you
the
like this. I'm
panel.
gonna tell you like this. I don't throw my marriage in nobody's face because I haven't even reached my 1 year anniversary of marriage. However, I've been with my husband for going on 5 years now. You
uh-huh.
see what I'm saying?
An
And it's
See?
the
actual
A
same
5-year
marriage.
thing.
relationship. Just
It's
like
No.
the
me.
it's the same. It's
Hold
Bronzeberg,
the
on.
just
same.
Already
like
Hold
me.
on,
married, young
hold
East.
Bro,
on,
hold
They
hold
on.
went. They
on,
went
Nah,
to
don't
got the
mention
hold
my
ring. She
name,
got
on.
his
bro.
last name.
Don't
I'm
Hold
mention
about
my
to
on.
say,
name,
hey, I'm
bro.
about to
Hold
say,
on.
hey, because you
Listen.
know how much
Not
you
like
lie.
yours, man.
Nah, bro, because you said
Exactly.
a
Five years, nigga,
relationship
same way,
versus a
nigga.
marriage is different,
Exactly.
bro.
She just got married. It was the
It
same.
doesn't
Okay,
Okay,
matter.
we was talking
That's
about
the
classic
engagement. That's the
Ruby.
marriage.
I
We was
just
talking about
Oh,
That's
classic
a
I
relationship that
Ruby.
led
I
to marriage. You did not
I
get
Mel,
that.
he
Hold
got
on
You
pissed.
didn't
now.
Mel,
get
he
that.
got
Let
You
caught.
me
were
explain. Mel, hold on. Let me
He
explain.
got caught right there,
it.
Mel.
I'm talking too much. Let me
oh my
talk.
goodness.
Yo, Bronx Wi-Fi, chill. Hold on, let's.
Nigga, Let me talk.
Yo, Lincoln
Talk,
Projects,
nigga.
chill out.
Oh,
Come on, man.
I hear you. You the loudest one. Now I
No,
gotta
I'm
get
not.
out.
You wild loud, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, listen.
Now listen. Now I'm
Let's
talking
come.
now. I was talking. Thank you.
Okay, Third Ave.
Thank you, blue cow fucker.
He want a woman that's gonna marry him for nothing other
Port
than what he
Morris
got
looking
up his
ass nigga.
wallet,
Bot
and
haven ass nigga.
hopefully his business ventures
Crackhead.
are
Go
gonna
on,
be
explain. Fuck some
fully
blue cow, dude.
prosperous Because the minute they're not,
Shut up.
his life is
Look
gonna
up the
leave
moo
him.
cow shit. That
I can't even hear Slim
She
Duncan.
not
Stop
gonna
talking.
none of
Too
her
much
character
talking
traits
over
to
Sorry,
each
work.
Slim
other.
Duncan. Sorry.
She not gonna stick with him through thick and thin or none of that shit. When your money dry up, that bitch is gonna be gone.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
The only thing
Yeah.
that
she
I'm
get too
saying
thick,
is
she gonna get kicked to the
when I
curb. She get too fat, she turn into a moo cow, she gonna get kicked to the curb. Exactly. Not no
period,
thick and thin. Only do the thin.
period. Period. But when
Only
your
do the
money run
thin, she
out,
gonna
guess
stick
what?
with it.
When your money run out after you pay for her
Okay, I
BBL,
don't
guess
fuck
what
about
she
all
gonna
that
do?
shit. I'm telling you, she
Guess
get
what
Oh
she
my
fat,
gonna do?
do the
God.
thing. That's
She
not
gonna
Stop
happening.
it.
run
What?
and
Will
she's
we
gonna
please stop
marry
yelling?
a fucking
For
So
rapper, and
real.
loud.
she gonna
Chill
marry
out,
another
bro.
fucking social media influencer.
That's
All I'm
right.
saying is
That's
that
right.
What are you
all
talking
I'm
about,
saying
bro?
is that I'm talking about what you're
You
talking
don't
about.
smash.
What you mean? I'm talking about the same
I
thing
think
that
you
you're talking about.
I think you defending it because you
I'm not
sympathize
defending
with not
nothing.
fucking. That's what
I'm
I
not
think,
What?
nigga.
Why
defending.
don't you
I'm
let
not
her finish
defending
her
Let
point
her
nothing.
first?
finish.
Details
I'm
about
not
their sex
defending
life like that
anything.
anyway.
Hey,
We
I'm
gotta
one
not
get to
mic,
the
defending
point.
one
Keep
mic.
anything.
talking, nigga.
I'm
That's
not
Yo,
fine. We
one
defending
getting the
mic.
anything.
details.
Yo, one
I'm
mic,
not
y'all.
defending anything,
Listen.
I'll
y'all.
advise
One
both
mic.
Just
of them.
listen. One mic.
I'm not defending anything. I'm sorry, but you sound like an angry incel, and I'm not even
Okay,
being funny. I'm not trying to insult you, but you
okay.
sound like an angry
And
incel.
you sound like a
Hey,
dried up
hey,
bone
young
bitch that
East.
don't
Whoa,
fuck
hold
That's
on,
nobody,
hold
fine, but
on,
nigga.
hold
my
on.
husband
Chill
don't
out,
think
chill
so.
out,
Please
chill
That's
out,
stop.
fine.
bro.
That's fine, but my husband don't think
I'm
Personal
so.
chill
attacks
now.
up here tonight.
That's
Yo,
fine, but
chill
my
out.
husband don't think so. So all that I was saying is that some men marry women for much more than what they have between their legs. Of
That's a
course, that
fact.
is a very
Every
vital.
nigga married for what a bitch have between her legs.
Shut your ass up.
That was just
Of
stupid.
Every
course,
nigga married for that shit.
Young East,
of
So you're
yo.
course,
capping. I
Please
don't know
let
what
her
the fuck you're
talk. Let her
talking
of
about.
Yo,
course,
bro, hold
of
She's
Ruby,
not
let her
course,
saying
talk.
nothing
of
though. She keep
Ruby,
course,
saying dumb shit. Like,
Ruby,
bitch,
of
you're dumb.
course.
Nobody
hey,
does
yo.
that.
Okay,
Ruby.
but you the dumbest
Let's
Yes,
nigga
start
on the
ma'am.
using
fucking
the mute.
panel.
We're
So
gonna
what are
start
you
using the
talking
mute
about?
button for
Yeah,
real.
I think we really should.
You don't
So
even. You don't have to
Use
mute
it. You
him.
know,
Y'all,
use it.
y'all ain't
Back.
gotta mute him. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Like I'm for the fuck shit. If you want to argue, we can argue.
No, you good.
But
We've been
at the end
arguing,
of the
Stu Bell.
day,
Young
no, you've been
here,
East.
arguing by
guys.
yourself with your dumb ass
You
because you
Guys,
don't
ain't
the
been
fuck,
problem
arguing
bitch.
with
You're
me.
is,
Oh my
You
dry.
have
God.
not been arguing with me.
guys, one
You're
You have
second.
dry.
not. I'm
One
sorry, but you're
second.
too dumb to
One
argue
second.
with
One
me.
second. Here's the problem, guys. Right? Regardless, I understand, emotions get in there, people get passionate, but the problem is that even if you can hear the person you're yelling over, the audience can't hear anything but noise. So nobody's hearing anything. And then we like lose 10 people all at once because they get tired of trying to listen to six different people screaming over each other. Right? So just let one person finish their point and then speak. But when you start talking and yelling all over each other all the time, all it is 10 minutes of noise. No one got anyone's points. So there's no point.
That's everything.
Okay,
Oh
So
so
yeah.
Slim Duncan, go ahead and finish, and then Young East, you can.
okay, so all I was saying is that you have some men, I won't say majority of the men, but some men actually do marry women for more than what they have between their legs. Of course, sex is a vital part of a relationship, but I will point you to certain religious groups. You have Jewish people. I would tell you Drake. Drake had a baby with a porn star, but you know what he also did? He also made sure that that woman was a Jewish woman. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Catholic men will make sure that they have babies with another Catholic woman. White men will make sure that they have a baby with another white woman. You know why? That's because it's based on something that's more than what's between her legs. Some women bring certain values to the table that that man wants, and that it's more than sex. That's not to say that, oh, that woman is not giving them sex or anything like that, because again, when I got on the panel, I posed the question: if Ruby already said that she gives her husband sex whenever he wanted, other than when she's having a flare up because of her health problems, what's the argument? What is the argument? If her husband saw her fit to make her a wife, despite whatever health problems that she have, what the fuck is it to you or anybody else?
Okay, you want to answer that, Young East?
Okay, so this is a common thing that women do, right? They want monogamy from you, right? And then when you give them monogamy, they start withholding the pussy. And the thing is, if you go outside the marriage to get sex, she can easily divorce you, and then she can take half your money. And it's a little trick that women love to do. So you guys got to be mindful of this Slim Duncan and this and Ruby. not so much Ruby, but definitely Slim Duncan now. This whole shit where sex is like men marry for something else, goofy shit. No, the primary reason why men marry is for sex. The other shit is the secondary. So don't
That's
miss me
the
with all that
primary reason
corny
that
shit.
you
Can you
marry.
stop talking when I'm talking? Like I said,
No, nigga.
every nigga do it primarily because if you took sex off the table, nobody will fucking get married. So quit the cap. Like I
That's if
said,
you took
if you're not
that's
but
if you
if
took it
oh
off
shut
the
the fuck up,
Let
table.
bitch.
him
If
Who
you're
is
not
finish.
talking
busting
about
it
Let
taking
him
it
open,
off
finish.
the
can
table?
you
Whoa,
shut
whoa,
up?
whoa, 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 guys,
Who is talking
guys.
about taking it
Guys,
off the table?
when
Nobody is talking about taking
Can
it
you
off the
shut up when I'm
table.
talking?
Why
hold
are
Can
you
you
on,
shut
going
up when
to
I'm
the
talking?
extreme? Like
everybody
it's
is
like if
Melody, she
you
quiet.
breaking
ping
the
the
rules.
ball left,
I
you go
know, I
She
far
know.
left,
breaking
and
the
if you
rules.
ping
Listen,
it right,
both
you
of you
go
guys
far
have to
right.
stop talking. Both of you guys have
Yeah,
to stop talking. I muted both of you guys. Let him finish, Slim. And when
My
if there's
bad.
a period, then you can go. Go ahead,
Then I'll
yeah.
go
Then
Melody.
after
after
Slim. I
Slim
want to go
goes,
after Slim when
guys,
she finish.
Then you
after
can go.
Slim, hold on. After Slim, right, who is after Young East, we're gonna read the super chat, and then I'm gonna respond quickly, and then you can go. Okay? So that's the order we're in
Sounds
right now.
cool.
All
Sounds
right,
cool.
go
Okay.
ahead, Young East.
So like I said, just to finish, the reason why a man is providing for a woman, he's working 40 plus hours a week and she's staying home. Definitely the one of the primary reasons is for the sex. It's like your own personal concubine. To take that off the table is spousal abuse at the least. So I don't want to hear all of this stuff. I understand that Ruby got a flare-up issue. We already established that, so get that out your mind. Like I said, if you're a woman and you're in a marriage, you better be fucking. And it better be like 4 or 5 times a week. And when you not, you better suck some dick or something. And I'm done.
Okay, go ahead, Slim.
Again, if her husband is fine with that, then who the fuck are you, nigga? Like I said at first, nobody is talking about taking sex completely off the fucking table. Why the fuck do you have to go to the extreme? If we ping the ball left, you go to the furthest left side of the fucking court. And if we ping it right, you go to the furthest right side of the fucking court. Nobody is talking about taking sex off the fucking table. You marry the person that suits you. What the fuck you're talking about women putting out and things like that is the equivalent of saying, oh well, when a woman have sex and have a baby with a deadbeat nigga, oh well, it's your fault because you should have chose better. Okay, well if you married a bitch and all of a sudden when you get married she don't want to give you ass no more, then nigga you should have fucking chose better. But that's
Mm,
not your fault though, right? But it's not your fault though, right?
mm.
So
All
shut your
right.
ass up.
So Ruby is
See
talking
if the
next,
two
right?
better
Hold
argue.
on.
Yeah, after
Before,
the super chat, let's get the super chat going.
Ruby, go ahead.
okay, so
I'm gonna
Chef
go after Ruby.
Disaster, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. He says, hello, Melody.
I'll be
Hi.
back up, Melody.
Hey, what's up?
What is that? Oh.
Okay. All right, Slim. We'll keep an eye out for you. Okay. So now I'm gonna say what I have to say here. It's kind of responding to what everyone's been saying over the last I don't even know how long. So here's the first thing. We do not live in a society, none of us here on this panel live in a society where you have to have sex in order, or you have to have marriage in order to have sex. People are having sex very freely. In fact, they're doing all of the things that you could do while married, while single, or while just randomly dating, or while drunken on Tinder, right? So in and of itself, and this is my opinion, it would be incredibly foolish. And in fact, I've heard a lot of men in Manosphere 1.0, 2.0 say, never marry your best sex. That's what they would tell the guys, never marry your best sex. And the reason why is because if it's your best sex, it's going to cloud your vision and make you not realize the fact that the only thing you're getting is the best sex. And you can get the best sex from that chick without marrying her. But in and of itself, a wife's function being sex doesn't make any sense in the grand scheme if that's all that you're getting from this woman is great sex. Right now, obviously, your body as a woman, I mean, it's in the Bible, right? Your body belongs to your husband's body belongs to you, blah, blah, blah. People like to have that discussion. Here's the thing. You should be sexually fulfilling each other. But that is a very tiny part of your role and responsibility as a wife. And if the
Right.
only thing that you are fulfilling as a wife is showing up and getting down on your knees or spreading your legs, then basically that's just being equated to being a prostitute, literally. Like, well, I show up and I spread my legs and I did my wifely duty for the day. And the problem is that being a wife is so much more than that and has so many more responsibilities. So it gets me personally really frustrated when people keep trying to relegate being a wife down to sex, because sex is like, and like I said, any basic bitch can spread her legs. Okay, any basic bitch can get down on her knees. Any basic bitch, right? But can she cook? Can she clean? Is she responsible? Is she thoughtful? Is she considerate? Is she supportive? Is she going to actually consider the place that you're in right now? Or is she going to demand shit that you don't have to give right now? Right? Because in and of itself, I've heard men talk about this as well. There are women who are like, oh, well, he wasn't sexually pleasing me, so that gave me a right to go out there and cheat because he was working in 90 hours that week, so he didn't want to have sex that week, and I need my needs met. And I think that shit is so selfish and bullshit, right? But when I sit there and say, no, I would never do that to my man. I would never do that to my husband, right? If he's tired or he's stressed out or his mind is elsewhere or today he just needs peace or whatever it is, right? I'm not demanding that he come and meet my needs, even if they're beyond what he has to give today, right? Because again, I am here. I'm telling you this as a stay-at-home wife. I am here for me to fulfill my role, which includes, yes, fulfilling his sexual needs, which means he would need to have a need for me to fulfill it, right? But to fulfill so much more of the rest of the shit that needs to be done in the house, that needs to be organized and classified in life, that needs to be taken care of in general. That's my job. And I take care of all of that, and I do it very happily. And I'm very sexually attracted to my husband, but I would never put my sexual needs above his physical needs, because again, I know he needs to go out there today, tomorrow, the next day, and keep earning to provide for us, for our future, for everything he's trying to build. So that's just what it comes down to. So however you want to try to bastardize that, it's fine. It doesn't hurt me or bother me, whatever, because I know the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is that the majority of people who get married and the only thing they're getting from a wife is sex, right? First of all, that's fueling these idiots like the woman we're going to talk about later on in the week, who thinks that her only job as a wife is for her to show up. And then the man's supposed to take care of like everything else. Okay. That's what fuels that. Or men who sit there and say, well, as long as she's giving me sex and I'm good and she gives me my peace, so then she's going to give you a blowy, disappear for the day, you're good with that, and that's it? That's her job? No, that's the same shit you could get from a prostitute, same shit you can get from some random chick from the street, the same thing you can get from a sneaky link. So how are you comparing all of these like very low titles to what marriage is supposed to be, what the union of marriage, what the responsibilities of marriage are? And likewise, on a man's side, it's one thing for you to be hooking up with some chick or whatever you've been dating for a while. It's another thing for you as a man, if you're like a man, right? And so you've internalized that responsibility as a husband, as a builder, as a provider. You know what? You're not just thinking about, oh, pleasure and fun and whatever. You got a lot of shit on your plate. You got a lot of shit on your soul and on your mind, right? And so, yeah, you're going to need your itches scratched and your needs fulfilled and da-da-da-da-da. But there's going to be times where, you know what, fun is the last priority on your list, right? That's just what I have personally seen and experienced. And I try to understand all of it because, you know what, I know how hard that man works for us. That's just what it is. All right, I'm done.
You want to read the super chat? Wait, before you guys go, Ruby's gonna read the next super chat.
Slim Duncan. Oh, you sent a super sticker. Thank you, Slim Duncan.
So much. We appreciate
so gorgeous.
You. Isn't she? I love her
your skin.
Right?
I know, right? Love your skin. Hey, there was a guy who was after me. There was a guy after me. I can't remember who it was.
Mel. It was Mel and then it's Brownsburg.
Okay.
Yeah, me, yeah.
Oh, but before you go, let me read the next one and get these super chats.
Oh, there's another one? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate everything. So this is Ed Unchained. Thank you for the super chat. He said, I just wanted to say F a marriage.
Oh, well, you know, it's gotta get in there. All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Me.
Go ahead, Mel.
All right. No, I remember. Yeah, Slim Duncan actually made a point that I was going to point out. If she just stopped giving you sex, after you get married, stuff like that. There's a reason behind that. There's always a reason behind that. And one of the problems that a lot of couples do is they don't even talk about the sex talk. What is how that important? How many times you're supposed to do that? All that's supposed to be discussed before you get married, even before you even commit yourself to this girl, and everything. So you know what type of girl you're dealing with. If that's what you want satisfied, you have to discuss these things with your woman that you're gonna get serious with, or be prepared that you know what, if things don't go your way in the sex of marriage and everything, can't blame her. Gotta blame yourself. Stuff like that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So if you married a woman, she just don't give you sex after marriage, stuff like that. There's other nuance to that. You might not realize that technically she was probably giving him sex before the marriage because she felt like she had to, not because she wanted to. It's different. Women feel like she have to. That means she's doing things to manipulate you. Females will manipulate sex to manipulate you and a lot of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna feel like she gonna feel like I have to give him so I can get more stuff out of him. Some females would go as far as getting married to a dude just to get those financial benefits and resources out of you. And females have done that.
Yep.
But some dudes too
Yep.
naive not even realize, you know what? I got the punani. She's this type down female, but like, you know your own value of your own self. Period. This what the discipline comes into the matter also too. Like because I'm taking care of you and everything, you won't be treating me like this. Like these things I supposed that I want and demand from you. If she ain't giving it to you, then you better move on from her. Period. But if she doesn't give you sex the way you want to, yeah, you got to leave her alone.
I can see why the divorce rate is over 50%.
Okay, so let me go into this, yo. Check this out. I don't know who said it's gonna take like 3 to 5 times a week in a marriage. That's not how things work, and you cannot make that the standard for every marriage. We don't know these people, okay? My whole entire thing, I think it's very ridiculous to sit here and say that girl must suck dick this week. That girl must drop the panties this week. What the fuck are y'all niggas talking about? Yo, look, listen. Every marriage is different, okay? My thing is, I believe that a woman is the helpmate to the man. Okay, at the end of the day, the man and the woman help each other in a marriage. That's how it goes. Even in a relationship, I always said a relationship is a prelude to marriage. So the thing about it is, you don't know the first thing about being married if you only been in a relationship or a series of relationships your whole entire life. I'm not even talking shit, right? I've never been married, all right? Would I want to get married? Who knows? I don't know what the hell is in the store for Bronzebird. Maybe I might be a lonely bird for the rest of my life. I have no idea. My thing about it is, how are we judging marriage on the basis someone might have a condition or maybe not, or because they might feel like they don't feel like having sex? You do know emotions roll in when it comes to these type of conversations, right? Why is that? Because the fact of the matter is, when it comes to sex, that person has to be in the mood, so does the other person. So to bring up this whole entire thing, they must have sex this many times a week. We don't know that. Even on a man's side, a man can be tired. You know that, right? From work, or the fact of the matter, he doesn't even feel like giving up the dick for the moment. So I just love hearing these conversations sometimes, because it's just like some of y'all really don't get it. And y'all speaking from a single perspective. You're not speaking from a married perspective. Now imagine having the same conversation with a married man. What do you think the answer is going to be? Think about that, Bronzebird.
Hold on. I'm just going to answer that question really fast that I had up there, which is now
put
gone.
it back up then. My bad.
I know. I don't know where it is. But Wacky asked, oh, there you go. Who in the hell in 1.0 said never marry your best sex? 1.0 or 2.0? I don't know. I know for sure that BGS used to say it all the time. So that's somewhere you could still go and see his old streams from 2017, 2016, hear him say it. And explain it personally. So that's the name that pops out in my mind when I think about that literal actual sentence.
Ruby, I mean, even though BJ is my man, but there's something I disagree with him on certain factors, and that's one of them. I'll disagree with him on that factor. Like, if that's your best sex, and you know what I'm saying, if you want to wife that up, then wife her up. That's what you want to do.
Like I said, he had an explanation. I don't remember the whole explanation because it was like 5-6 years ago. I'm trying to dig.
I know where it's coming from with BJ. I know I'm familiar with BJ.
I mean, because if you think about it, for men and for women, 9 times out of 10, if you are with a woman that's completely gratifying you sexually, 9 times out of 10, she's not the woman that you're looking for, and the same vice versa for a woman. 9 times out of 10, if you're with a man that's gratifying you completely and wholly sexually, that's probably not the man personality wise that you want to marry long term.
Hmm? I mean,
Um,
rose-colored glasses are a bitch, and I think people forget how much amazing sex can really keep you clouded in the rose-colored glasses for too
Right.
long.
Thank
Um,
you.
and then once you really invested, you marry, you didn't sign no prenups, da da da, and then that best sex disappears for even like a few weeks, and you're like, oh,
Well,
why did I?
what I
What
would
was I
say with that,
thinking?
what I would say with that, those are weak-minded men, period. Because you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was always weak-minded, so of course they're gonna get got. So of course, y'all never make a point of it. That's a point. Yeah, those are from weak-minded men that's got. So I know some dudes that yeah, they got best sets. They married the woman that got their best sets from their standards and stuff like that, and they still married to this day and stuff like that. So it comes with
Mm,
different nuances and everything.
it
Yeah.
does, but if I'm being real, right? So I'm just gonna go here with it, right? Because I've been around the manosphere and the divestment spaces for a while.
uh
I
oh.
just never hopped on panels, right?
Mhm.
When people talk about settling and things like that, 9 times out of 10, most of the people that settle, they're settling sexually, not not character trait wise, right?
I get it.
Meaning that most men and most women will find someone that fits them um, for what they need for their household. Most women will find a man that is a perfect father to their children, that steps up and helps out around the household, especially if they're working a full time job themselves. To help out with the children, most men will find a woman. If she has to stay home, she does it all on her own without complaining. Blase, blase. The settling department, it usually boils down to sex. And let's just keep it real. Like looks is like it's almost a 50-50 thing, but it's really sex. You know what I'm saying? Most people settle when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Am I being am I
You know
hitting
what
it
I
on the
feel?
head or no?
You know what I say with the best sets is me from my point of view. Best sets is when you train your woman, and you know what I'm saying, instead of her being experienced, as they would say, and everything. She's a
Hmm.
wholesome type girl and everything, and she's open to learn from you sexually and everything. That's actually the best sets from my point of view, and so that's how I feel like marry your best sets. It's someone that you train, so she's
Hmm.
not out there, but she's open to please you because you're the one, you're a king and everything. Yeah, so she be open to try new things based upon what you teach her.
Right.
See now,
Yeah,
And
and
I
I
would
think
say
that's
for
my point.
women,
My
I
point would
would
be this. Hold
go
on,
ahead.
let me say this
yeah,
really fast. Here's the thing. There's a bunch of like your character. By the time you're an adult, your character, your personality traits, your interest, your goals, those things are often pretty set in stone, right? Your genetics, you can't help what genetics you were born with, right? But
hmm
I feel like sex is the one thing where it could start off whack. And if all the other things are firing on all cylinders and you're willing to be open, honest, and communicate with each other in the bedroom, you can make your sex life something mind blowing. So I feel like it's something
hmm
you can, or even if it starts off just average or it's all right, that communication and being willing to be open to pleasing each other and to learning how to do better for each other, that's something you could learn how to do. Whereas you can't necessarily just change your whole personality, your character, all those things that you've established over 20, 30 years, right? So I think that is for me why it would be important to find people who have the character trait of, say, wanting to please you, and invested in wanting to please you and wanting to learn their spouse. That's a more important thing than starting off at 11 in the sex skills department for each other, because you can learn how to improve the sex skills. But if you're not really very good at, say, taking constructive criticism, you're not really the type of person who's invested in wanting to learn and change, then that's a much
yeah,
harder thing to change.
yeah. Because
Ruby.
earlier I was just thinking about this episode of Divorce Court when then this lady, she was like a very super religious person and everything. That she was up to the point that the guy was that she was divorced for, and she was like, when we first dated, when we younger and everything. Someone told me not to date him because he was a player, but she married him anyway. And I think some of the stuff he wanted to get into sexually with his wife, she might have found out still as a sin despite they married. Like you got some couples like that, like yeah, I don't do fellatio and everything, or he won't go out on you. You'll find that as an ultra sin. And I was like, how's that a sin? Because you're married and stuff like that. So it's like, that's probably what, yeah, you know, some couples not open to do certain things, and they feel like they comfortable with what a sin is, and they marriage or whatever, and they, religion, everything, you know, interferes with that. They just want the basic stuff and everything. The basic sex is like, yeah, it gets crazy. You know, that's all. I think some relationships feel that way too. Like, you know, yeah, like not nobody not open minded. Like,
Right. Well, let's hear from Wacky. Hi, Wacky.
Oh, hey, Wacky.
What's going on? What's up? What's up, everybody?
good
What's
wagon.
going
Hey,
on?
and
Yeah,
my
what's up,
bad
Wack?
for incorrectly numbering the Manosphere 2.0
Oh
brother
nah.
as a 1.0 brother. My apologies. It's just, he's at least
Oh,
one or
oh
two
no,
segments
it's
of
cool.
Manosphere ago. you know?
No, it's cool. You don't even need to apologize for that. I was just wondering because like, huh? My mom was like, huh? I did the Scooby Doo in the back of my mind when I heard you say that. I just
She did say 2.0. Yeah,
yeah, but all right, nah, you're all right.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think that Ruby took the words out of my mouth because she said, well, I'm just interpreting what she said. She said something as far as when it comes to a couple and sexual intercourse. I mean, with me personally, I don't see why a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on that. I'm not saying that sex ain't nothing. Of course, we're humans. We desire sex. When two people get in a union or a couple together, they're going to have sex. They're going to desire to have sex, right? But it's just that a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the sex better be good. The sex better be good. The sex better be good. Or I better get this much sex all the time. And it's like, sex is something that can be improved over time. Let's just say if the performance is not as good in the beginning, people can communicate and it can improve over time. Thus, I don't get why so many people put so much emphasis on sex as if you can't improve it. It's a performance, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
something that you perform. In any type of performance, you can improve it, right? It's a skill
Facts.
set,
Yeah.
you
exactly.
know? Yeah. So so this whole concept is like, well, the sex better be good. The sex better be good. Okay, how about the two individuals in the couple work on making it good? See, that's the thing
Mm-hmm.
that I have a problem with a lot of people when it comes to relationships. They don't want to work to make something good. They
Facts.
they want something
Excellent
to be good
point.
at a snap of a finger. And that's both males and females that do that.
Yep.
Yep.
What people call it the microwave or the microwave generation, where we want something instantaneous like that. No,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
work
Plain
on
simple.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
Yep.
My
yeah,
generation
Every,
was raised with
every
the easy
member,
button. You
But
press it and
that's
it goes, that was easy. Right?
but
Like,
that
nothing
right.
wrong
every
with
member
that.
of DJ
but that
Envy
but
and his wife.
everything. Oh,
Oh,
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
Zach. Go
I
ahead,
was
Zach.
gonna make a quick point and then I'll roll it to you, Mel. I was gonna say, but that is the problem with a lot of people hooking up in relationships nowadays. They're just doing it for sexual pleasure, lustful pleasures. Not everybody, but I'm just saying a lot of people. That's why you hear a lot of breakups and you have all these people going on these shows looking for new mates because they didn't go into it with good intentions. A lot of them didn't. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
some tried, but the majority didn't. It was just all about, well, how can I see what I can get out of them sexually? And then, oops, we're done.
Y'all
Mm-hmm.
remember when you
Ruby.
saw DJ Envy and his wife when she just openly admitted I haven't had an orgasm in 10 years dealing with him? And he looking
Yeah,
all shocked
Yeah,
like,
I saw that.
yeah,
like
we covered that.
Yeah, we did.
exactly. Is that, yeah. I brought that up again now because, like, that's the fact what we talking about. Like, yo, she didn't talk to his husband from when the first time that happened. And like, yo, this is one of the problems. Like, yo, man, if I'm married, yo, I want my wife to tell me, like, okay, if you feel like you need orgasm, please talk to me as soon
Yeah.
as it happens so I can prove it. So like that's my job. I want to prove each other. Okay, maybe I
No,
want to change it.
that's real shit because I will say like after I had my second child,
Mm-hmm.
for me sex wasn't the same, so I had to like I had me and my husband we had to switch it up. So
Yeah,
like
Mm-hmm.
now the position that I orgasm in the most is not the position that I orgasm in the most
Before.
4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Your body
Mm-hmm.
changed.
So right. Ain't no
Ruby.
motherfucking way. I'm just
Yep.
gonna put it out there. As it
Yeah,
pertains to
keep it
Envy White,
real.
ain't no motherfucking way. Like that just and that's a perfect example of what I would feel like a woman that married for a specific purpose that was outside of sex. She didn't marry him for sex. She got her gratification through more than likely his money and his celebrity and how he could
Exactly.
take care of her and position her in society And that's what it was. You see what I'm saying? If somebody marry you for, you know what I'm saying, real tangible reasons and your character, because they really love you, that's something that they're going to work on with you, man or woman.
True.
Good
True.
Ruby,
point.
So Dr. Eugene Steele, what's up?
hey, m- may I ask you a question? I know this is going to probably sound like a stupid question,
Oh, go
but
ahead.
I know you said that you know you're fulfilling your husband's needs,
Hmm.
and what I want to ask you is the condition that you have. Does it sort of hinder you from doing it to its full potential?
I will say both yes and no. So, for example, like I have a systemic condition, which can cause other problems. For example, like when the discs in my lower back went, my lower lumbar and sacral region, which then prevented me from walking, which then prevents you from doing lots of things, right? Like anything that involves standing up. And so then it's a long road to recovery, to trying to fight to get back to a place where you're as strong or as mobile as you once were, and then needing to basically relearn how to do everything, so that way you can fulfill some of your duties. But like the way I am, for example, I like to cook. Like when I cook a meal, I don't just cook basic shit. I'm just very extra that way. But
Mhm.
when, with my back being out, like, man, even just trying to throw something real basic together is so difficult. So therefore, the quality and elaborateness of the meals went severely down, right? Or ordering out went way up.
Mm.
And then I had to work really, and then on top of that, he was also trying to help, and cook sometimes too. So, had to work really hard through physio and occupational therapy and stuff, to strengthen myself to the point where I could again be standing up in the kitchen and cooking as much as I used to. And then I went from just cooking dinner to also cooking dinner and lunch, and then dinner, lunch, and breakfast. So you know what I mean? Like it does and it doesn't. It depends, right? It depends on the stage I'm in, the flare up level, what it affected. So it's a bunch of things.
Yeah, and I know that your husband's working with you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's an amazing man. Like there are days where I'm like, why don't you leave me? Go get
He is
someone
an
who's fully
amazing man.
intact, man. I
I,
literally will say that, bawling my eyes out, because to me, he deserves so much more than I can give currently, right? Especially since my back went out. It's just very frustrating for me. And his whole thing is, I give so much more than I realize that I do, because I'm just so focused on, like, my love language is acts and service. So I'm very focused on what I physically can do, right? And what I can physically provide and physically take care of. And, he says, I don't focus enough on the other aspects of what I provide to him as a man, what I provide to the relationship and whatever, because I'm just so focused on the things I can't do. And that's what motivates me to work so hard to try to be able to do them again. So, I mean, I complain, I think, more than he does, and I'm harder on me than
I
he
have a
is, I'll
question.
say.
Right.
I'm
And
sorry, I
can
have a
I just
question
say
for
this?
you, Ruby,
Oh, go ahead.
real quick.
Hmm.
When you met him, did you have these conditions?
No. Well, I
Okay.
did, but like for example, like my back going, like me losing the disc, the back going out, that just happened maybe 3 years ago. So prior to that, while I had other issues, I didn't have that issue, right? So, I had some mobility issues and whatever, but I could just work through the pain. I could still move and function, right? It was when my back, like the discs go out, that's a that's a problem that I had never experienced before. I didn't have any issues with my spine and my discs and stuff before. So,
Because I remember you said you breathed too hard and you sprained your back. I was like, oh my God.
girl, I sprained my back from rolling over in my sleep. I've sprained my back from like the way that my discs went out. I literally was stretching while brushing my teeth in the morning, and you're in that little light stretch, and I coughed softly a couple times. That's literally what happened. Um,
I'm so
can
sorry
I?
that
Can I? Can I? Because my internet was working out. I wanted to talk for a minute.
I was gonna say something
uh,
I
real
thought
quick.
Slim Duncan was gonna go and then you go after her. Go ahead,
Yeah, I
Slim.
was just gonna
uh,
give a I was just gonna give a compliment to Ruby and her husband. I was just gonna say that the bottom line is the fact that your husband still wants you and you still want your husband, that means that you both deserve 100% from each other.
Beautiful.
The fact that your husband wants you, despite whatever you have going on, that means that he needs to give 100% to you, and the fact that you still want him, you need to give 100% to him, whatever it is. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. Yep. And that 100% effort's going to look different. It's about effort, not outcome. And I think a lot of people, including myself, sometimes I lose track of that on my side, right? I don't lose track
Right.
of that on his side. If I see him giving 100% effort, but like, the output is like 20%, I look at
Hmm.
the effort. But then when I'm evaluating myself, I'm very rough and I'm just looking at the output. I don't care about that I put in 120% effort today. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter because my output sucked and I would be really rough on myself. So, I think that's also part of marriage though, and of supporting and loving and caring about each other, that reciprocity factor.
Right.
Because those times I'm really hard and really down on myself, if I got stuck in that loop, I probably would be less productive. I probably would have taken even longer to get stronger and whatever. I probably would have ignored the doctor's advice to take certain things slowly and to build certain things slowly and whatever, because I would just be so hating on myself. But having his love and support is just, and without him looking down on me or belittling me the way I might look down and belittle myself sometimes, like, he is the most incredible man. He's the most incredible husband. And I
Hmm.
already thought that before like stuff like this was happening. I mean, he was already an amazing man and put through the fire, put to the test. Like, I'm so happy that I chose, for things like character and personality, and looked at those internal things over other things that are easy come, easy go, like money. And
Especially with a medical condition, it's
That's
good that
what's
he's
up.
around to keep you from being depressed
Right.
about it.
Hmm.
hmm
Definitely. Well, I think Young Ace had a question. Go ahead, Young Ace.
Oh yeah, my internet was borgy. That's why I kept coming out and in. But no, it wasn't a question. I was just listening to everybody talk. And here's the thing: with Ruby's case, Ruby has a unique case. I'm not talking about Ruby when I talk about what I say. Not specifically. Not. I'm talking about both parties being healthy. Number one. Number two, and this is a big point that I have a problem with. That I think. Well, I don't know about all these other niggas, but I know in a relationship where you have a party that's not working, you have the woman that's not working. If the man has to resort to watching porn or getting a side chick or something like that, if she's not working, that's a problem, at least to me. I don't think men should be watching porn if they got a stay at home wife. That's how I personally feel. Okay? Now, apparently, that's not the case. A lot of women work, right? So the sex is not going to be the same amount. It's just not. Like, if both parties are working 40 hours a week, they probably going to have sex maybe 2 times a week, if that, like on hump day and during the weekend. And it's probably a quickie one of them days. So I get that. But like I said, if her hours are reduced and you have time, there should be more sex involved. Now, Wacky has said that, he was talking about the quality of sex. Oh, good sex can be learned. If you have a stay-at-home wife, the quality, if you're not getting quality sex, my brother, that is a problem. That's a problem. She should at least be learning how you like it if you don't know how she like it. So I don't know. I don't know exactly where you was going with that, but I'm just saying this. It's a problem if you're not getting quality anything, if you have somebody waiting on you for that specific thing. Does that make sense? That's
I
right.
mean,
And it doesn't surprise me that the divorce rate is over 50%. But go ahead.
but the main reason why the divorce rate is so high in America is not due to sex, right?
That's
It's
what
due to
you
finances.
remember. That's what they say. But
No, that's a
even the
fact.
Chris
They
Rock,
that show that is
even Chris Rock said it. Like he said, don't stop having sex with your wife because that's the main reason. Like when he had made that stand up, I forgot what it was called. When he was talking about how a man is not valued unless he brings something to the table, and the women's just valued. He said, don't stop having sex. That's the glue that keeps
That's
the relationship
because
together.
That's
Okay,
because let
so
me.
who's up? Go ahead.
All right,
You
so
want to say
okay,
something?
Okay,
but
I
but
just want to
if you do,
interject. That's
oh,
because hold on. Can I
I'm sorry,
interject
I'm
right
sorry.
quick?
Oh,
It's
go
gonna
ahead,
be
Slim, go
five
ahead, go
seconds. I
ahead.
promise. I promise. I promise. That's
I didn't hear it.
because
Oh,
women use sex to get love, and men use love to get sex. Meaning that women, we will offer up our bodies in the hopes that we will get this man to love us, and the hope that we will get this man to stay with us. Whereas men will tell you that they love you. Men will tell you that they want a baby by you. Men will tell you that they want to spend the rest of their life with you. They want to build with you, and oh, I can see us doing this X, Y, and Z together to stay with a woman. That's
can
why.
I answer that? Can I answer that?
In
Because
2022,
anytime,
in 20,
anytime,
hold on, hold on, boy. You've been speaking for too
Let
long,
anytime
man.
you
Wacky
use a
go
Yo, hold
first.
sex,
on. Yo,
Let
yo.
Wacky go first, and then you, Young Easy.
Man.
Go ahead.
okay,
All
go
right,
ahead.
thank you, Ruby. Okay. Slim, in 2022, males and females are not doing that shit. Males and females just like, let's fuck. All I want to do is fuck. And after we go fuck, you go to your place, I go back to my
Mm,
place.
they still are. They still
In
are. They
2022,
still
you
are.
don't see like
They
a
still are. I
general,
don't care
you
how
know, you don't
much.
see
I
like a
don't.
general. Hold on for a minute. Like in
Go ahead.
2022, you don't see like a general group of males it's lying to females saying I love you to get sex when they don't have to in this day and age, and you don't see females trying to use sex to get love when they don't have to do that in this day and age. this is
They
this is
Not
a
absolutely
not so
do.
totally
much in
I,
this
different
day
I
and
get
world.
age.
your point when
They
she's coming from. I'll
absolutely do.
explain it when y'all finish.
Yeah, I agree. They
I get.
still absolutely do.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
they
yeah.
uh, uh,
absolutely do.
Hey, listen, anytime you have to use sex as a manipulation tool to get what you want is a problem. So what Slim
That is
said,
true.
when the women use it for love, that's manipulation. Men use it for, I don't know, whatever they use it for, that's manipulation.
No,
So that's
men
what I'm
don't
talking
use
about. It
sex.
shouldn't
Men
even
use
be that.
love. Women use
Okay, yeah,
sex. Men use
yeah,
love.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Anytime any manipulation like that is involved, that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? So, the and see, my thing is, like I said, with women, with women, they don't have a lot of sex when they have to go to work 40 hours a week. It's too much stress on them to go to work all them hours. So this
That's a fact.
50-50 shit, yeah, just the 50-50 thing where niggas want women to pay half the bills but put out at the same sex rate as him is a problem. I don't. That's not so. She's not gonna do it. But
That's a
on
fact.
the flip hand side, and this is the side that everybody have a problem with, if a woman is not working but she's not putting out, then that's what, bruh. That's what I was talking about. That's what I have a problem with. If you're not working, you should be doing X, Y, and Z in the bedroom. And you
Right.
should be cooking and cleaning all that shit. That's all I was trying to say.
So, but
And it should
but
be
then too,
multiple
you gotta
times a
put in.
week.
Okay, so can I throw this in right here, right? And this is personal experience because I work in a very, very affluent. I'm talking about the neighborhood that I work in. I work in a neighborhood where people are living off of their great grandparents' wealth. You see what I'm saying? Like people are coming in and moving into their great grandparents' house, remodeling it. They're having kids and X, Y, and Z, right? The women are still going. They're still college educated. They have degrees, so more than likely they're working. They may not be working as hard as I work, as someone that works a service in that community, meaning I work past the hour of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? You see what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they're still working, right? However, the men in those communities, they make it so, wait for this car to pass by. The men in those communities, they make it so that their wives can quit their jobs and they can stay at home. You see what I'm saying? Once they
But they
make it
don't have
so
to
that
work though.
hold on, they don't have to work. However, they're pumping babies into those women. I can't tell you
Well,
how many
that's slavery.
women.
That's
No,
slave
no, no,
money.
no, no. It's slave money, but let me tell you, because you're comparing apples to oranges when it's not really like that. I work in an affluential neighborhood, and I'm not talking about like, oh, this is a neighborhood that's been established in the state of Texas since the 1800s. You see what I'm saying? These
You
women
did say
have
great great
degrees.
grandparents. Mhm.
Yeah, yes, but these women
Mhm.
have degrees. You see what I'm saying? Which means that they can go out and they can work just like any other person. They can go and do the job that I do. They can go and do the job that somebody else does. You see what I'm saying? If they do work, they're not working late hours. They're off on weekends, major holidays, and whatever the case may be. However, the men in that neighborhood, they make it so that their wives do not have to go to work. However, they gonna pump as many children into those women as they can. These women are literally having babies every fucking year. I
Uh-huh.
kid you fucking not.
Mm.
I
Every
wonder
fucking
why.
year. Because they don't have to work. And their husbands is
Yeah.
going out. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Because I don't want y'all to think like I don't
Ain't
want
nobody
y'all to think
stopping you.
like
Keep talking.
I don't want y'all to think like I'm a fucking meter maid or something. I'm not. I have conversations with these people. Their husbands are pumping kids into them on purpose because they want someone to continue their lineage. But their husbands understand that being a stay at home wife as well as a stay at home mom takes the place of you going to work at a corporation and punching a clock every day. So, no, you're gonna stay at home, you're gonna raise our children, you're gonna make sure they get X, Y, and
Right.
Z,
Yep.
and I'm going to go to work in the corporation in the office, but I'm not going to discount the amount of time that you spend at home. And believe it or not, these women have nannies. These women have fucking housekeepers that come and clean their houses every fucking day. And
I
their
think you're talking about
husbands,
exceptions to this rule.
no,
I
I'm
think you're talking
not.
about
No,
rich.
No,
You
I'm
talking about rich?
no, no,
She's
no,
talking
no.
about rich people. You
no,
talking about rich
she's
people. We're
not
talking
talking about rich people. This is a community of people that live a
No,
conservative,
this is a
traditional
whole
lifestyle.
I'm talking about a whole fucking zip code. I'm
Exactly.
you
talking,
talking
I'm talking,
where
hold
they're
on,
very
hold
where they're
on, hold
affluent,
on.
right? They're rich,
Hold,
right?
they're
No, they're not
affluent, but
rich. No, what
hold
she's
on.
talking about a
No, 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 no,
conservative.
no.
She let her
No, they're
talk,
not.
Mel.
Hold
Are they
on.
rich?
I'm talking about a community of people where the median income is 350,000. Now get
All right,
that
they're
is a
rich.
lot. Hold on. That is a lot.
That's
It's a
one
lot.
percent of the country. No,
It's
that's an
no,
exception.
it's
That's one
not.
percent of
No,
the
it's
country.
not.
All
Three
right,
hundred and fifty
man.
thousand is not a. 350,000 is not 1% of the country. It's
Yes,
absolutely
it is.
not. No, it's
Yes, it
not.
is. Yes,
No,
it is.
no, it
It's
absolutely
not
is
young age.
not.
It's
It's
not.
not.
It is. It is.
No,
It is
it's
to you
not.
because they make that much more money than you, but it's
It's
not.
They
not.
make more
It's
money than
not.
you too, nigga.
Yeah, but
The
that's
fuck?
not a
Yeah,
small
but that's not one
percentage.
percent of
It's
the
not.
country.
You're not.
It's not.
It's
It's
what? It's
not.
the that is the top percent. 350,000 a
It's
year.
not the top percent either. Either
It's
Oh
not.
my
also,
But
god, y'all
okay, so
tripping,
okay,
man.
you
Go
don't do
ahead.
brother.
your
Okay,
stats and
Go ahead.
pay.
okay.
Whatever.
Well,
I
hold
don't care.
on,
I
hold
don't
on.
care.
Okay, well,
Go
let me
ahead.
say this because if you don't care, then I'm gonna just put it like this too.
Go ahead.
You're asking,
Mhm.
what you're asking for. You're asking to get the things that those men get without making the money that they get.
That's bullshit. That's not what
However,
I'm asking.
no, yeah,
That's not
you
what I'm
are. Yeah,
asking.
you are.
No,
You
I
are.
am not. No, I
You
am not.
are.
No, I am
You
not.
are. How
No,
could
you
you be
don't have to
asking?
make three
Yeah,
hundred fifty
you are.
thousand for your wife to stay home. Especially
You,
in the 1950s, all them niggas wasn't making 350,000 a year,
Nigga,
but their
we
wives were staying home.
how many years are we removed from 1950?
It don't matter. Them niggas was making
No,
regular
it
middle
do
class
matter.
money
it
around
do
that
matter.
It
time.
Boom,
does
and
matter.
financial status
It
and
does
everything is
matter.
Y'all
different
hear
from
this?
It does
now.
matter. It does
Y'all hear this?
matter.
Y'all hear this? Every
It
nigga that
does.
had a
It
No,
does
housewife
I'm
back in
matter.
the
telling
day
you
She's
was
why it
rich.
right.
does matter. It matters
No,
because
she's not right, Mel.
it
The
matters because
1950s was
my
a
great grandmother
age
lived
back
on the
then.
same
Fuck out of
land
here.
that
Okay,
she
guys,
grew up on.
guys,
350,000
It
a
guys,
year.
matters.
guys. We can't
It
be
matters
yelling over
because
each
my
other.
great grandmother
You're
lives
making
on the
no
same
motherfucking
land that
sense.
she grew up with two houses by herself.
Get all right,
By
give me a break.
herself. That's why it
Whatever.
matters. My
No, it
great
don't.
grandmother is a single woman. Her husband is dead. She has a brand new built house and she have a plot of land right next to the house that she lives
That's
in. That's why
elite
it matters.
families.
No.
350,000. That's elite class. That's not regular fucking people. Okay, everybody that had a housewife back then was not no damn elite class of people. What
They
are you
didn't
talking
have,
about,
but the
dude?
thing is, they didn't have to be elite class of people. The elite people back then were living these super extravagant lifestyles, whereas back then you could be a fucking school teacher, you could be a waitress, you could work in retail, and you could still marry a husband that probably worked in the same line of work that you worked in, and he could take care of you and two or three children, and you could quit work.
And how
A
much was he
man could
making a
work.
year? 350,000.
Listen, a man could work back.
Exactly.
No, nobody was making that type of money back in the
Thank you. That's my
1950s.
point. But they still kept a
But that's
housewife.
my point. That's my point. You could
No,
live
that's my
better
point.
back
What are you talking
then
about?
with less money than you could right now.
What you say?
You could
What?
live back then making way less money. What I'm saying is men back then could work a job being a security guard. They could work a job being working in a fucking airport. They could work a job being a fucking
You
postal worker, and they could take care of a wife and two or three children, buy a house.
Bro, you could do that working at an airport. You can make like 70 grand working at an airport. What are you fucking talking about?
But you won't
You
live the
can make
same
70
you
grand
won't
as a
live the same
mechanic.
you will not live the same quality of life that they
Yeah,
lived back then. You
I
won't.
want to
You just
You
interject into
can't
won't.
make
this,
a
You won't.
you what? At
guys.
You will
70
not.
grand, you can't have a quality life?
Exactly. Our
I would
audience
like to
can't
jump in
hear.
here, please. Um,
Yo, this nigga's
let
funny.
me jump in here, please, because the thing is, and I mean, you can look it up. It's factually correct, right? That if you go back like 50, 60 years, never mind, even you don't have to go back that far. You can go back 40 years. And what she's saying, and it's a true point, is that on an average income, is the regular Joe Blow average income, it was perfectly plausible to be making average money, go and get yourself a house and get yourself a car and take care of your wife and three kids who are all stay at home and be living a relatively upper middle class life. Like you didn't have to, whereas in now the cost of living has skyrocketed, right? The cost of even like
That's
things
because we
basics
have no
like
housewives.
the cost of basics like bread and even eggs and whatever skyrocketed, right? And even though these costs are so inflated, especially the housing cost now, if you guys look out there right now, it's rough since the pandemic, right? But our salaries have not inflated to keep up with the inflation that the cost of living has done. So
How much?
when she's
How much then? What's the number? How much do you think it costs to have a housewife? 350,000? Does it cost that much? How much it
That
cost?
depends on what city you living in
No,
also
it
too.
Okay,
doesn't.
okay. I'm
What
asking
city you
Ruby
talking
because she's a
about?
housewife. I'm asking
I'm
Ruby.
pretty
All right.
sure that I'm
So
pretty
there's
sure that
that.
it doesn't cost 350,000 to have a housewife.
Okay.
However,
Okay. Boom. Boom. Right
however,
there. Okay.
however, however,
However
the
what?
average,
However what?
however, the average house to buy a house in today's market is about that much, and that's for a small home.
That's why you take out a
That's for
mortgage.
Yes, that's for a small home. Do you know that the job that I work, my supervisor is getting ready to retire from my job. He retired from the military when he was fucking 38 years old. His home only cost him $80,000. Do you know how big his house is? And he bought his house in the 80s. His home
yeah,
cost him eighty
Sure,
thousand
you gonna tell us.
dollars. He
yeah,
he
absolutely.
got a 5 bedroom, 3.5 bathroom house with a study and a fucking media room and a three
What are
car
you? What
fucking
is?
garage.
Like
And
I
a
said,
three
what are you
car
trying
garage.
to?
Do you know
I
how much
understand that.
do you know how
I
much a
understand
house
that.
do you know
What
how
do you?
much a
I'm trying to get
house
to your point though.
do you know how much a house that big will cost in today's market? It won't even
Exactly. I'm
it
trying to get
won't
to your point.
it won't even
What are you
cost
trying
three
to say?
hundred
That
and fifty
men,
thousand dollars.
men,
It'll be more.
how much money do you think? I'm gonna just go by you because apparently you think men supposed to make a whole lot of money to keep a wife, right? How
No,
much
I
money is?
don't
How
know.
much
I
money for
don't think
you? How
that.
much
You're
money
missing
for
the
you?
point. You are
No, I'm
missing the
not.
point. Yeah,
How
you
much money for
are.
you?
You are
How much
missing the
money?
point. The point
How
that
much
I'm
money to keep
making.
a housewife?
Oh my gosh. The point that I'm making is that the money that people were making back then could afford them a way better lifestyle than it can afford
Are
someone in
you
today's
okay?
time.
Okay. Now I'm asking you a question. You made that point. I'm asking you a question. How much for you, or whoever want to answer? Ruby. How much for you?
So
Crickets.
it depends on what state or what country you live in, right? Because I
Thank
mean, the
you.
cost
Yeah,
of
it
living
depends on the
is
state and the
significantly
country.
different in
See this?
California
Y'all ain't even got
than
a
it
number.
is.
Y'all ain't even got a number. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going though.
Well, no,
Okay.
because we've been
So
throwing
You
out
never
numbers.
did the math.
I
You never
literally,
did the math. You
no,
never
I
did the
literally
math. Y'all
just
don't even
said.
know how much it costs. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
okay.
me
Oh
telling
my
you that the
god.
average home,
So
me telling you that the average home today, not even a large home, a small home, is around 350,000.
How much is the
Back.
mortgage? How much is the
That's what
mortgage a
she's
month? How much?
saying, man.
Oh
That's
my
what niggas
you
gosh.
is.
have to put down
And
so
get to the
to get a
Mel,
point.
mortgage.
Mel, calm the
You
fuck
got to the
down, nigga.
point,
Calm. I
man.
don't know
You
why
get
you
a
defending them.
mortgage. You got to pay
Calm
off that
down,
damn
you
debt.
dumbass nigga. Like,
You
you know, I
Guys,
hate
hey,
that.
man, what the fuck?
I
What's
guys,
asked him a
happening?
direct fucking
guys.
question.
We can't be doing all this screaming all over each other. To get a mortgage, you need to normally put down somewhere between 10 to 20% of the
Thank
cost
you.
of the house.
That's
And
Mel.
normally, depending on your credit rating, right, that percentage is going to be higher. So the more
We
that
know
they
that
trust you
already.
credit wise,
You
well,
don't know that.
so you're asking how
We
much
know
would
that
you
already.
need to get a mortgage.
You
So if
don't
But
the
know
cost
that.
of
That's
the
what she's
house,
I
saying.
asked you a number, and you guys
You
are
don't
now talking
know.
about.
That's what she's
Can you
explaining to
shut the
you.
fuck up, nigga?
Can you guys
Mel, stop talking.
Listen to her,
you
man.
guys
Mel, stop
lower
talking.
because it sounds
Hey,
bad in the audience. So can you
You
guys
don't
stop
know.
yelling?
yeah.
No, Mel, stop yelling. I'm not yelling. Like I said,
what the
they
fuck
couldn't give me
on, man?
exact number. You see the nigga keep going? Relax,
Exactly.
nigga. Like I said, I don't know why you so gassed up about this shit because they're really
But you
trying to
know
say
what?
it
You're
costs a
not paying
whole
her
lot of
shit
money.
now. And you're paying the
I'm
fucking
defending
mortgage
you.
and all
I'm
this shit.
defending you, dumbass. Yo, dumbass.
Okay, so we have new people on our panel. Let me hear from Edward Anderson. Hi, Edward.
Well, I'm glad you used
Edward,
this.
Hi.
Hurricane Edward is on our panel. I'm very happy about this. Hi, Edward. How are you?
I didn't even know the cost of living and shit.
Oh no, he's still muted
Hi,
up.
Edward.
Oh, there he is. Okay. What's up,
Yeah,
Edward?
what's up, everybody? Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
sir.
can
Long
hear
time.
you.
Long time. What's up?
Right.
It's only been like a month, maybe 6 weeks, but yeah. What's up, everybody? No, I just kind of jumped in the middle of the panel, and I heard what you call it talk about the cost of living, and we're playing the goalpost moving game. So I kind of echo
Thank
the
you.
frustration that Ease had. I mean, come on, man. But anyway, what's the original topic? And I'll jump in on where we're at right now.
Like I said, I asked them a direct question. How much do you think it takes to sustain and raise a middle class family? That's really what I want to know. And then they started talking about all this other stuff.
Well, no, I only managed to be able to say one sentence, which is that it's going to vary from state to state. And then from there, everything went buck wild. I'm not American personally, so I can really only talk about the cost
Right,
of living here because this is where I own properties and live, right?
right.
But I've
Right.
listened to other people talk about the differences in cost of living between, say, Atlanta, and then the outskirts of Georgia, or California just
Right.
altogether, or
New York
Connecticut
is
versus
way
New
more
York.
money. We already understood
Right.
Right.
that. New York
Okay,
is
and
way more
let
money.
me just say this. He also brought up what people were able to do in the 1950s, and the only point that I was trying to make is the money that people are making today is not compared to what people were making back then.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
know
I
that. It's
brought that.
called inflation. It's
I,
called
R-
inflation.
right.
yeah, but
My
she
point.
brought up $350 a year at her little affluent community.
No,
And that and then no, hold on, sweetheart,
three
hold on.
hundred
This
and
is what you
fifty
were saying.
thousand dollars
No,
for
no,
the
no, no,
average
no,
home in the United States, and that
no,
the
no. You did not. No,
neighborhood
no,
that
no,
I
no, no,
work
no, no.
in, the
You
median income is
okay?
three hundred and fifty
No, and
thousand
that's no
dollars a
ease.
year.
Exactly.
Ease. I hear what you're saying. Let I want to try to have a reset because Lord knows I can be one of the main ones wilding out. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, you know, when you look at what a lot of sisters or sisters in particular, because I mainly date sisters, so that's why I speak on that. By the way, but this is Western women in general. I'm not gonna act like other women are not doing this either. what they pick on, you know, the boring guys are typically the guys that make that kind of money. You know, the guys that at least would be classified as boring. And what happens is women start playing themselves when they try to have this dual mating strategy where they want to have their fun in their 20s, and in their 30s they want to find like a Russell Wilson or some shit. The women that typically win are the women that pretty much lock a guy down at the beginning while they're in the trades. I'm gonna give you a perfect example of this. Derrick Jackson's wife. Derrick Jackson's wife, before Derrick Jackson was Derrick Jackson that everybody knows now, that made the money with the, you know, the self-help bullshit he gives. They were at college. She was actually probably more educated, intelligent than he was, as far as where the tracks that she was on. But she knew what she wanted. She locked that down. Even though he was cheating. You saw how she was committed and staying in that relationship, because probably she understood the investment that she made. Not saying women should deal with cheating. That's a choice she made. That's a choice she has a right to make, regardless of which way she took it. But we know she stayed. And so my point is, she wouldn't have got a Derrick Jackson at where he is right now, where she is right now. And I think a lot of women get lost on that. I mean, you can see the same thing with Barack and Michelle Obama. You can see the same thing, even with black women, the same rule applies. Even the black women that get with a lot of these white dudes, they found them in college. The ones that do go to college. The point is, a man's peak is, as far as everything, is generally in his 30s, and that is not a woman's peak. So what is the point of me saying this? The point of me saying this is, it's not, folks are arguing about the numbers, the cost of living, the country, because even Vancouver is much more higher cost of living than, like, if you're talking about Quebec or something like that. Because I know a couple of Canadians in different parts of Canada, although I can't speak on that like that, but I just know what they told me. But my point is, women don't want to make a deal. And men are much more willing to make a deal than the women are. And the type of guys that a lot of sisters are going for are dudes where the law of supply demand are on their side, so they don't have to make a deal. And then so that's really what the problem is. And they expect for dudes to basically make deals that don't on paper make sense at all. Why? Because of black love. And that's not working. The younger you get, the worse that is, because the Z's are not playing that game. For the most part, the millennials are not playing that game, although they're still kind of iffy. The Xers are kind of in the old nigga, starting to go in the old nigga category. So, you know, you have what you have, and that's what I see. And that's where all this goalpost moving about how much things cost. Look, man, we know stuff is higher, but at the end of the day, if I'm paying for everything, what I say is law. And then that's why women wanted to work in the first place, right? Because they wanted their independence. So anyway. That's my thoughts on that.
You basically said it. The goalpost moving. That's what I'm saying. They don't cost that much to maintain. Jesus Christ, like, that was way too much money, man.
Well, it depends on what, like, well, the question now is, it's more about lifestyle. It's obvious the stuff costs. I mean, college, they had college for free. It's a lot of things that the other generations before the Xers had. I understand that. But the question is not so much about cost. The question is, what is the lifestyle that folks are asking for? And the reason why Kevin blew up is because you got folks wanting a lifestyle that, quite frankly, I'm going to keep it real. Most of those women he called into his show had no business wanting the lifestyles that they wanted. They didn't qualify for those lifestyles. They just don't.
Which is fair, but I think here's my point to this discussion of the cost of living being different now versus before, right? So, and obviously there are many other factors, but if you just look at just the cost of living of a child or per child, right, that's somewhere between, depending on which study you're looking at, between $12,000 and $14,000 a year extra, right? And that would be on top of what your regular living expenses are. And then you have the fact that, you know, the average income is $40,000 a year, right? Minus the addition of $14,000. I mean, I think the problem is that before, right, if you go back just like 50 years, just to want to live an average middle class, nothing special life, right? That was far more attainable for the average single a young person to really be able to attain relatively easily with home ownership in there, not even just like paying rent and trying to triple kids in a bed or whatever, but just like being able to go and get yourself a decent little modest home and a decent little modest car, and you have your
Okay.
wife and your 2 kids, right?
So you moved the goalpost again.
It was just far more affordable 50 years ago, right? 60 years ago than it is today. Whereas
So
then when
how
you're
much?
looking
How
at
much
it,
is it?
Hold
How
on,
much
hold
is
on,
it
hold
now?
on. No, Easy. I know that what you're saying right there, I understand that, but the question becomes, what does that have? What, like, the question is, because I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is what I would tell, and I mean this. I've said this on my channel over and over. It is a thing that I am saying. If a black woman plays the "I can't find a man on my level," the first thing coming out of my mouth is, are you only dating black men? Have you considered dating out?
but the thing is,
That
that's
I'm
not actually where our discussion was at all.
I
We weren't
know,
talking about
but
levels
what,
and
but I know, but what I'm saying is, if a woman is looking for a particular, whether even if it's a middle class, even what you described, it was attainable, the middle class, what we call the American dream in America, right? Car, house, you could save to put your kids in college. A woman didn't have to work like that. The thing about it is, a lot of
I
these
don't believe none of
filters
that
that
shit.
people are asking, it now has to be, is that really important to you, or is it more important to you to have fun,
right. But
aka
see, the problem is you're talking about a different demographic than what we've been talking about. So we're not talking about, like, I mean, yes, like
Right.
we started off the stream and we're talking about people's unrealistic dating expectations, but the conversation we're having just
okay, so
right
what
now,
demographic are you talking about?
right, the conversation we were having just right now just had to do with, can the average man making the average income, right, afford to have a stay-at-home wife and a couple of kids and be able to support that on the average income of today?
No.
Right.
No.
That
Hell
was that
yeah.
was
Right.
ultimately what we were saying. That was it.
No.
No, not
No.
even,
You
not
know
No.
even, not even.
you
Hold
know
on, hold
how you
on. No,
buy
no, 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 no.
the
Hold on,
cost
man.
of buying a house in Florida is y'all niggas think it's $350,000 a house in Florida. You
No,
could get a
dude,
house a lot
I
cheaper
live
than
in
that.
I live in North
Because
Carolina. I'm from Chicago. The answer is
okay,
no. Unless you're talking now, here's what you're talking about. If you're somebody where your money is not necessarily tied to their location, for instance, if you're a truck driver, you have more wiggle room. If you're
Right.
somebody like, I'm a manager working from home. So I can actually take my ass to Alabama if I wanted to, and as long as the internet, but most people don't have that aspect. So with that aspect, you would have a lot more wiggle room, but that's not what most people do. So even in Florida, you're still tied to the locations, and trust and believe, companies will lower how much you make if they know the cost of living is that much lower. They understand paying
Yeah.
people in California and New York versus
Mm-hmm.
paying people out, and they are not trying to pay them the same if they do not have to.
Mhm.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
my point
And you
is,
gotta
all
you
you
gotta
need
Like
is
they just
all
did
you
a,
need is
they
a
just did a
seven. All
study.
you need
They
is
just
a 650, 700 credit score, and they'll give you a loan for a house down here. It really ain't
They'll
that
give you a
but it's
hard.
not
loan,
it's
but
not
what
it's
would
not
be your
just the house
interest
though.
rate?
It's
yeah,
it,
it's
They
it,
give
about
you that loan, but
mortgage
you
and
have to pay that
everything.
money
Jesus
back.
Christ,
well,
y'all
well,
acting
well,
like
hold on,
it's
but
a.
no, that's not what. Number one, damn, look, rest in peace, but damn, Kevin Samuel's numbers. I'm not talking about that. Like, I actually volunteer for an organization that's designed to put people in houses. So I deal with this every day. I'm getting cussed out with people crying every day, especially with that. And I'm feeling every time that interest rate goes up because I'm hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, what they're doing is house hacking. So I mean, no, the answer no, and it's not a black thing. It's a man thing.
Yeah.
It's not. And then another hidden cost that people don't talk about, which is why I really don't want to hear it from women on the complaining aspect. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm saying the ones that will, is that they don't never calculate the fact that it's easier for a woman to get it. Men do make more, but it's easier for women to get employed than men because a lot of
Mhm.
those jobs, those women are occupying those spots. Because let's be very clear, a black woman can be a double minority, a woman and black men can't. So the point is, it's kind of like, well, why can't I have a stay-at-home lifestyle? Well, it's because you that stay-at-home person. You're occupying that slot. And that's not just black people, that's across the board. That's part of feminism that people don't calculate. The jobs are finite. The jobs are not infinite. Women didn't work, and then it became more jobs available. Those jobs, now obviously you have more labor intensive jobs that men tend to do versus women not. So this can go sector by sector, obviously. But even with the more corporate America type jobs, where those are really jobs that are of the mind, so labor doesn't give you an advantage, there you go. So, but to answer your question, the answer is no, they can't. Not at no
If
stay at
women,
home.
hold on,
Right.
Ed, if women stayed at home and they cooked more, nobody would have to go out and eat like that. If women educated their own children, nobody would have to pay for children going to school like that. If women did their job, men wouldn't have to work so goddamn hard for all of that stuff. That's what they were doing
Even if
back
you
in
So,
the
but
day, though.
even if you
you're
accounted
speaking
for all
Y'all
from
that,
not doing y'all
Right.
job.
no,
Period.
you're
That's the
he's
speaking
not
problem.
Exactly.
looking.
you're
Dudes,
speaking from a
all
place
right.
of you're speaking from a place of when women actually couldn't work. The bottom line is women can work now, and
Yeah,
whether you
and
like it
look,
or not,
Yeah, and the bottom
hold
line is
on, whether
and
you like it or
what
not,
kind of jobs are you
whether
picking?
you like it or not, majority of women have to work in today's society.
No,
It's
whether
called
you like
yeah,
it or
because they
inflation.
not, the
keep on
majority
choosing
of women
dusty
have
ass
to work.
niggas. That's
No,
why
No,
they
But no,
you
that's
they
what
whether
you
baby
you
Well,
mama.
like it
yeah,
or
kind
not.
of. Yeah.
no,
well,
no.
But
those
they
But
baby mama, so they
hold
gotta
on.
work.
Let's be very clear here. Women fought for that have to work bullshit. That ain't something that just happened. Women are
Yeah, they
very
wanted that.
much help create. That is not something that men descended upon women. Women
Right.
created that and fought. Not only created, they fought for that. Now maybe
Yeah,
y'all
but they
didn't
Women
didn't make the right
suffrage
understand.
movement.
decisions. They didn't make
Maybe
the right
y'all didn't
decisions.
understand the deal that these white women, these second wave feminists, were creating for y'all. And that's more
Right.
on, I guess, your mothers than y'all, but because we're millennials. But at the end of the day, that was fought for, and also that real to me that has nothing. See, here's the thing: women will have this thing where they'll say, "Well, I'm." It's kind of like, okay, I look at things like currencies, genetic currency, which is looks, economic currency. You get to kind of throw sexual currency in there too, um, with genetic, economic currency, and social currency. And so
Yeah.
what the problem is, you have women that they want to fund, and the ones that aren't operating like this generally know how to balance out a dude, meaning it's not saying that they don't want no fun, but they understand the other non-tangibles that you need, and then they work within those things to kind of get a what I call a balanced thing on the pie chart according to what they want. They know the trade-offs, they know what they really want. And then what you have is other people that they just live in life, and what they'll tell themselves is, well, I'm gonna come off the market if this great man comes around, but other than that, I'm just gonna do my stuff. And then as time goes on and people stop calling, as age comes on, now all of a sudden it's the where the good men at are. Well, a lot of the
Yeah.
good men got
Ed.
took off the market.
Then,
Ed.
then,
The
the,
thing
then,
is
the,
this,
then, the
Ed. The
fact,
thing
then
is
the
this.
fact is,
Because
oh,
because women are working, they don't want no man that's working below them, not making the same amount of money. Now a nigga gotta make more or at least equal. So a nigga gotta make you gotta be damn near Superman because of all that woman suffrage movement. That's why these chicks talking about
Well,
middle class money ain't enough anymore.
well, that's
How
not
was
it.
that not enough?
And that you have a great point, because that's about a lifestyle, and that's where all of this cost stuff comes in. Because yes, a middle class lifestyle, it's harder to get now because obviously we have inflation than it was before. But then you got to ask: are women really asking for that, or are they really asking for some real housewives BS? Because when I ask them to describe what they looking for, like describe it, it's as if money doesn't fucking exist. Now the ones that got
They,
some damn sense
yeah.
understand it. Now, so yeah, it's a couple of
The
elements
whole
there.
but
Ed,
just
the
like you were
whole
saying,
Ed,
just like you were saying earlier,
Ed.
Ed, you said yourself, based on different factors of females. Slim was telling the truth. Some females have to work because one of the factors you said is based on genetics, how attractive
They
she is,
baby mamas.
such dynamics and stuff like that. We know that the top tier attractive females, as BGS would say, they call 100 octane. They don't have to work.
Man,
Then they
I
go for
know,
sex work.
I
You know
know
what I'm saying?
five.
They get
Real
big
talk.
money
You
for
want to
bad
know a
bitches
all the
at
time
secret?
and
work.
stuff like
You
that.
want to know a
Most,
secret?
but most,
I know fives that don't work. So I
exactly.
know
So
fives that don't. I know
I'm,
black women that are fives
he
that
said
don't work.
fives that
They
don't work.
they may be
yeah,
they may no
they don't work.
seriously.
Yeah, they just being a fact. And women that's not highly attractive in a five,
They
they
got
don't work
lucky.
either
They
too.
got lucky.
A five is
They
But
not
want to know how to make
necessary.
a deal.
at the
A,
end at the end of the day it's the home that's really suffering.
a five.
Everybody think it's economics. It's the home that's suffering. It's the women that are not what they used to be. Men haven't changed. Men have been the same since. Okay, maybe the dollar maybe the dollar deflated. Maybe we ain't on the gold standard no more. Maybe that might have took a little bit of a dive, but if you really look at it, men haven't changed. It's really the women that stopped doing their job, and
So
that's
well,
why everything
I
costs
beg
so
to
much.
I'm
differ.
not necessarily. I'm
All
just
right,
having an
nigga.
economic
I'm
conversation. I'm not necessarily having that conversation today, but I do want to say
listen.
when I hold on
Men.
when I say five, understand you could be a five in the face and still have the certain body type a dude wants. So there's
We're
caveats
not
with that.
talking about that.
Exactly.
But my point. So what I'm saying though is that if this, regardless of we talk about women are the same, for the women that actually want to make a deal and they actually have leverage, I'm gonna keep it real with you. If even today, if you're a single mother with one kid and you're actually smart enough to know how to make a deal with the right dude, that is very much possible. The problem is women are entitled. That is the biggest issue. That is the biggest
Yeah.
issue that is keeping women in general and black women in particular in a holding pattern, is they are entitled. And here's another thing that's coming. Other groups of women are now, it's like a domino effect. It's kind of like gentrification, where because a
He
lot
said
of other
gentrification.
dudes are getting knocked off, like a lot of white men are getting knocked off, or Hispanic men are getting knocked off, because this economy is like fucking a lot of people up. That means there's less men. That means you have other. Remember, we're black men are 6% of the population. That means other women are willing to make a deal, because here's the problem. I'm gonna give you some good news and the bad news. The good news is for women that actually got some damn sense. And when I say got some damn sense, I mean exactly that. They're cooperative, they're reasonable. I'm not saying you can't want what you want, but they understand out of five things, if I can get three, I'm winning. If I can get two and two, I can work on the third thing I want that dude to do over time. Generally they winning. And I'm talking about women that are compromised, like women that got a kid. If you're an 8, 9, or 10, obviously I'm not talking to you. If you're a 7, for the most part, I'm not talking to you, because you can kind of operate outside of that. But I'm talking about people that are not operating in that lane. By the way, if you're 7 or 8 and you got a kid, yeah, you coming right back down, and you need to be reasonable. So
Yeah.
the good news
Yeah.
is the bar has been lowered so much with the attitude and everything. A lot of sisters, a sister that has the ability to apologize for something they know they did wrong is gonna put you as almost like superhuman, like straight up. That's how low the bar is. The bad news is, hold on, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying for real. The bad news is other women see how that low that bar is too, and if they get desperate where they need to secure something, they like, I can give this dude nigga like a third of what I gotta give at a basic level to this white man or Latin man, and I'm still gonna get a grateful person. And that some of them are starting to take that deal. And so you gotta compete with that. And so this is the stuff I would tell my female cousins. So I would say, do what you want to do, but understand the clock moves regardless, and the clock don't care. Darwin does not care.
Yeah.
Darwinism does not care. You can't cuss him out. You can't argue with him. It just is. Just like a
Yeah.
nigga that used to be able to put it down on a chick, and for whatever reason, he can't do that no more. So he ain't got that leverage and nobody cares. It's the same thing in reverse. It just is what it is. It's up to you. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was saying, because women want to be men and work too, that's why their sex drive is lower. I know I said that shit earlier, but whatever. I'm gonna say it again. All them hours on the clock don't make for a wet pussy. Okay, and if a nigga ain't paying the bills, it don't make for a wet pussy. Okay, and niggas, honestly, niggas shouldn't be really. Niggas is tricking all over the place now because women want to work too. Niggas is tricking like a motherfucker now. And that's, to me, that's another problem. And I get into all the time with dudes that is so pro tricking. You feel me? So to me, like I said, from 1950s and beyond, since we keep using that point, ever since women stopped wanting to be wives and take care of their kids, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the kids are getting sick more nowadays because women don't want to take care of the kids like that no more. They take care of the kids. They wouldn't even need to go to the doctor like that. Now you need all kind of shit. But like I said, everything is rising because of that. It's not just because America keeps printing more money. It ain't. That's not the only goddamn reason.
Yo, East,
Okay,
what I would say is for the guys that tricking and
hold
everything.
on. After
You
Mel, JT Hellstrom's gonna go, okay? Because he
know,
hasn't said
you know,
anything yet. Go ahead, Mel.
you do know the guys that if you complain about the guys that's tricking, it's probably the guys that's what rate of return. They spending more money than what they get in
Hey, my
return
mic working?
versus guys
Oh
that's
shit.
technically they paying for play. Hey, gives the money, give me the pussy, go off on your way. That's it. And those guys are spending less money, everything on those chicks versus the guys that's constantly throwing money at them like you see in the
You
strip
would,
club or paying their bills, but they not getting pussy on the regular. Like I said, I used to trick myself and shit like that, and I was
but you,
getting the pussy that way because I was not wasting my time paying no bills. Here's the money, give me the sets, go off on our way. That's it. I'm not paying your bills. I'm not giving you money
but
and
would you,
favors all the time. You don't give me something all the
but you
time. I'm
just
paying
did.
you money.
He just was
Would you
naming
have
other
to?
niggas.
Would you
That's
have to
all.
trick if your wife has sex with you? If your wife has sex with you at least 3, 4 times a week, would you have to trick?
Of course not.
You,
Now you're
that's
speaking
what
for a
I'm
married
talking
man, but
about.
you understand, married men,
I'm
they
speaking for all men. Oh my God. See, this is.
I know what you're
I'm
saying. Yeah, no,
speaking
no,
for.
real men
Yo,
that treat
East,
women
please
wrong.
don't do that, East. Please don't do
Exactly.
that. You do not. You, East, of all people, you do not
I'm
fucking speak
doing
for
it
men. You do
though.
not speak for
I'm
men,
doing
Oh
it
B.
my
because y'all niggas,
God.
yo.
For all men. You do
Oh
not
my
represent
God.
a long shot, B. So don't
Exactly.
speak for
Thank
all
you.
men because a
I
lot of the
just
shit
said
that
it.
you
I
coming
just
up
said it
here,
because it's true, nigga.
nah, it ain't
I'ma
true,
say
man. It's what
whatever's
you think
true.
is
It
true. That's
is
your
true,
life.
nigga. He
That's
just
up to
said,
you.
True from
oh
right.
my
What's the truth from
God, y'all
right?
niggas is soft as fuck. Y'all
Nah, real
soft.
talk. Nah, it
Oh,
ain't about soft, man. It ain't you
it
ain't
is.
getting
That's just
laid, man.
soft,
You
nigga.
ain't
She's
getting
supposed
laid.
to
B. Are
fuck
you
you.
getting laid? Are you getting laid? The way you sound, you talk like a nigga that ain't getting laid. You talk about like
Oh
everything
my
revolves
God,
around you
bro.
getting laid. Are you getting laid or
Exactly.
what? Because I ain't got problems getting laid, B. I ain't talking like you. You talking like you got problems getting laid. Like you don't represent every
Are
man.
you
Every
even
man don't
black?
have
Are
problems
you
getting
black?
laid.
It
What?
doesn't matter, man. He
Are you
kind of got a
black?
point because you constantly complaining so much about dudes getting laid so
I
much.
know. You
I
always
mean,
talking like You always
damn.
talking
Are
like you
you
got
black,
problems
nigga?
getting
Like you
laid.
talking? You sound like a Spanish nigga. Why?
He's
Why
I
are you
just sound
here,
biracial.
nigga?
smarter than you. I just
He's
sound smarter than you.
biracial.
That's the problem. I just sound smarter
This
than you.
nigga
That's
not
all,
even
B.
fucking black. We talking about
All right,
fucking
guys.
black issues and
Guys,
shit,
let me.
nigga.
Okay, wait, guys, please. Hold on one second. First of all, let's not talk over each other. And second of all, we have a super chat. Thank you so much, Sun is Hot Raw, for the super chat.
Thank you.
He says, in this day and age, it doesn't matter if a man is a good provider and protector. Women today don't want to be up under a man because them being alone, even under the single parent condition, equals freedom. Thank you so much, Sun is Hot Raw.
Yes, thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Or we want to slide JT Hellstrom into this conversation.
Yeah,
Or man's been up here forever.
I'm just basically saying, basically, man. So it sounds like a lot of people have problems getting laid. They basing everything on sexual currency. Everything is sexual. These black chicks got y'all by the balls because everything y'all talk about is about trying to win over the
See,
black
he
man.
not
I
black.
don't know
That's what I
what
thought.
else.
He's
Yo, no,
biracial.
I was when I was
He's
listen. If
not
niggas,
black.
Nigga, shut the fuck
Mm-hmm.
oh
up and
yeah,
stop
okay.
trying to
If
invalidate
niggas
what
got
I'm
a
saying
hold
with
on. If
your
niggas,
race.
I'm talking
Your
about.
race,
Listen,
dude.
listen. God
If
damn
you
it,
got a
listen. I'm
problem
talking
with my
about.
race, man,
Wait,
Listen,
why don't
nigga.
you go
Wait,
I'm
someplace
talking
JT,
about.
when
wait,
you
else,
hold
man?
on, hold on,
let's
You're
hold
not
talk
on.
even
Go
black,
someplace
so
else.
first.
you
You got
don't
a
matter
problem with my
really.
race,
Wait,
B.
1 minute.
Young East.
You can go
That's
after
not a nigga. That's a
JT.
fake ass nigga right
Wait,
there.
Okay, let
young,
him finish first, though.
Young
right,
And
man,
then you
and
can
then
say
you can
whatever.
go.
damn.
Damn. Okay, go ahead, JT.
Nah, I'm just basically saying that there's something like as far as what Ruby was saying earlier is that
Hey,
there's a there's a question you might not
I was
have asked
saying
yourself.
this is what I
Young
was.
There's
East.
Oh,
Young East.
Wait your turn. Go
there's a
ahead.
problem there's a question you might not have asked yourself because what are the standards, you know what I mean, that these women have, right? All these women that are liberated and they're free now and they're out there in the world and working when it is a known fact that the majority of women, they don't choose professions in the stem cell industries, for example, which also accounts for the fact that they ain't making as much as men. You know what I mean? Regardless of, you know, what the work environment, how equal opportunity is right now, you know. And second of all, let's talk about the standards. Let's talk about the standards, and let's talk about, you know, what's real and what's not real and what's realistic. I mean, as far as that's concerned, you got a lot of women that are punching above their head. You know what I mean? They're punching above their weight. You got a lot of men that's punching above their weight. We're trying to blend economics with sexuality, which is fucking black magic as far as I'm concerned. It's fucking stupid, right? Okay. The sexual market, okay. However the hell Kevin Samuels wanted to say it is a sexual market, all right? But whatever happened to people just interacting, right? Just like how that mixer the other day was a fucking ghost town. It was fucking tumbleweed central. Whatever happened to just black and men and women just interacting on the most basic platonic level? I don't think that women in the black community have a right to expect anything when they can't even treat their men with the most basic social decency, right? There was an episode that Kevin Samuels had when there was a woman on there that said she don't smile when she see men. She don't smile when she see black men, right? And this whole resting bitch face and everything. This is a very real thing. This is very consistent, no matter what region of the country you're in. You know, black women are forming a collective around ideas in terms of, you know, uh, the unacceptability of black men, what black men are lacking, what they got to do in order to, you know, earn the mantle of manhood. Because apparently, according to black women, they are the mantle of manhood, right? And in order for a man to be a man, he's got to earn that by appeasing the black woman, right? And this is a very problematic complex because, you know, you're gonna get a lot of guys like Young East, and, you know, a lot of the younger generation of guys out here that, you know, look at things as either purely from an emotional perspective and what he's got to do to appease this woman, what he's got to do to earn her favor, therefore taking himself out of the running as an actual prize, right? And then, or you're gonna go at it like many men in the manosphere do, from a financial perspective, and you're gonna look at everything as, you know, how much money I gotta make to have a family, how much money I gotta have to buy this house. But what both sides don't realize is that the black woman is more or less silently dictating the way that you think about things, the way that you ponder and perceive these circumstances around you and how you respond to them, right? And they enjoy that. They enjoy it. They prostitute brothers right now because the unrealistic standards that they have when it comes to dating, they have that because they're trying to put themselves on the level of non-black women, right? They're trying to do exactly what the other woman that was just on the panel that left, I think her name was Slim Duncan or some shit like that. They're trying to do the same thing that, you know, or what they think is the same thing that other women are doing. They think that because these other men, these other women, some of them don't got to work, some of them get to stay home and raise the kids, and then maybe it's because they got the kind of standards that we're trying to do with hypergamy.
Hey, Hellstrom, I don't mean to cut you off, but saying that you don't smile to strange men because there's dangerous people out there, that's like saying that you have a protective hairstyle. Y'all be smiling at strange white men, so I don't want to hear that shit. But go ahead.
That's not
Yeah,
true.
yeah, exactly.
You can finish your point.
Exactly.
Obviously, there's exceptions to this rule, but
Exactly.
a lot of
But they
women saying
choose
that,
them.
yeah, they be
They choose the
smiling at somebody
exception.
strange, yeah.
Yeah, they choose their time and their place. You know what I mean? But then they got the rest of they got the black men in the
Niggas be a
population.
whole dope dealer and they smiling at his ass, a whole
Well,
crowd.
here's the thing though. Okay, first of all, I want to say something here. Okay, so
Straight out of jail.
obviously, just like I say all the time, that men are not a monolith, right? Women are not a
Hell, they in
monolith
jail and
either.
they smiling at him. Go ahead,
Edward,
Ruby.
please. Okay. So now, obviously, women are not a monolith, right? So obviously, say me and my people, we can't speak for all women. But what I will say is this, right? The fact that women, and I'm going to say generally all women, have some level of wariness about appearing too friendly and smiling too much at too many guys, especially within their kind of like dating pool range. It's a common problem across the board of women in general, even across other cultures, which is why, like, to the point where they cover some women's faces altogether, right? And then women aren't allowed to look men in the eyes and whatever. So when women say, well, no, it could be a problem, or, you know, it has unfortunately led to really scary or negative situations, that is a valid fear. But there is a difference. Hold on. Let me finish.
But for the
Right?
wrong reasons.
Hold on, let me finish, please.
Hold
Okay?
on, let her finish.
Yeah, so it is a valid fear, and it's one that I have as well. But there is a difference between not smiling at random people you don't know, you're not interacting with, and whatever, and being a bitch, right? So I'm not a bitch. Like, I'm not an asshole to anybody in general. I'm not even an asshole to people who come up to me and like try to hit on me or whatever, or who catcall or whatever. I've never been that one. But with that being said, I do understand the concern of, because honestly, there are guys these days, and they'll talk about it online and stuff, that will take that as an invitation. And then when you say, no, I'm sorry, I'm married, they get mad. They get scary mad because you're a cock tease, you're this, you're that. And I've had that happen to me as well, right? I don't let other people's behavior dictate my own entirely, but it did make me a little more wary. And I have to recognize that people don't just see me as just a person walking down the street. They see me as a woman. And if they're single or they're in sexual availability and they look at me as a sexual potential conquest, right, then they're not going to just take my smile as just friendliness, right? So I had to become aware of that over time.
They know what they doing.
Wait, no, I hear you, Ruby.
I want to mention
But
what
the problem, hold on.
was
But the problem is what you said when you said there's a difference between me not smiling and me not being a bitch. The women that I'm talking about, that's a distinction without a difference. They don't know the difference.
That's
And you have,
exactly what I was
hold on,
about to say, and that's exactly what I was about to say.
and here's another thing: you have an entire climate, like, you know, you've heard the femicide thing in America, where every 5 hours a chick is getting killed. And then my thing is, when I look at who women are actively fucking, and it's like they reflect the very men a lot of times, and this is not all of them. Again, I even say on my channel, 1 in 5 act like they got some sense, and even within the 80%, there's varying degrees of bullshit. Meaning the ones that are like in that 21 to like 37, they are generally, it's tolerable, because it's just they have what I call fuckery flare-ups. But for the most part, what they say when you're an alcoholic, but you're a functional alcoholic, for them, that's fine. So I'm not saying 80% are just completely batshit crazy. So I have a scale with this. But my point is, when I look at somebody and they're actively telling me that their baby father is a goon and he's gonna beat my high yellow ass, these will be the same chicks talking about I'm scared. And I'm like, you around nothing but motherfuckers. You should be scared. My point is, people, and here's the thing, Ruby, I can tell the difference between the ones that are kind of like what you talking about. And that's another thing. Black men can tell the difference between the ones that are like what you talking about, and then the ones that are like on that 100% bullshit, like for Harriet and shit, you know. And I just want to point that out. So yeah.
Yeah. And black women could tell what nigga to smile to too. Don't y'all act like y'all don't know who you could like give a kind gesture to, and who y'all know the difference. Y'all sure know who the fuck as far as the difference is concerned. So that's cap.
People make mistakes all the times, and they choose wrong all the time. We have an internet full of people who clearly chose wrong.
It's not a mistake.
That's absolutely not true.
It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. Y'all doing it on. It's on purpose. Y'all know what y'all doing.
People who do things on purpose do things on purpose, but we do know that there's for sure on both sides, right? People in general, if you are healthily of sound mind and body, you do not choose to put yourself into the worst possible scenario. You think you're not putting yourself into that bad scenario until you get into it, and you're like, shit, I shouldn't have ignored these signs, or I should have seen this, or I should have been less naive about this, or whatever. And I'm talking about from both sides, right? So again, to try to just like melt it down and be like, no, everyone chooses that bad boy who ended up being the shit out of them.
Hold on. I'm not saying I really agree with what y'all are saying when it comes to ease and shit, but But I'm gonna tell you this: these niggas, oh, they know when they rolling the dice, and I don't. Women can do whatever they want to do with women on that, but I'm gonna tell you when these niggas, like for instance, I'll give you an example: Divine Franklin. I'm just gonna give her the Lord, and I'm not even the issue with Megan Good. Megan Good is a free spirited woman. And I don't mean that. I mean for real. And she communicated that. Now she wanted to get in a relationship with him after she'd pretty much, Lord knows what she was doing, but she told him early on she did not want kids. This nigga went on a 10-year exposition to try to put her with the blood of Christ to get her to want a baby, and he played himself. And when I was doing my couple of uploads, I made sure I pointed that out. I said you knew what you had, and I'm not saying that Megan is. I'm not trying to low key call her a hoe or anything. I'm
Yes,
saying
you is.
Megan, no, for real. Megan communicated she did not want kids.
Yeah, she didn't
And if
want
they
kids.
if women
But she is a
communicate,
hoe.
well, I say she's a free spirit but whatever. But my point
All right.
is, if she communicates she doesn't
Exactly.
want kids, and you decide to marry her anyway, sir, that is officially your fault.
It
And I
is.
don't care what she did, because you knew, because we control marriage, just like women
Yeah.
control sex. So what I'm saying, Ruby, is when these niggas try to cap, oh, I know, and they start laughing because they know they capping. So with dudes know. Now
Some
then you
And
do.
got
women know
some
too, though,
dudes that are
Ed.
like
Women know
No,
children.
too, Ed.
I'll say some do. I think some men, some women, right? They know what they're ignoring,
No,
right?
I'm
They're
talking
either
about
hoping
men.
for
Now
the
we
best
can
or
open it up for women. We can open it up
I'm
for
t-
women, because I
yeah,
understand
let's
women
open
are
it up.
emotional and there's some other stuff going on with women. But I'm telling you, niggas know when niggas sit there and say, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna take care of her. She a single mom." Nigga, you bargain basement shopping, and you know you are. So when you get played, no, because I'm saying if she didn't have a kid, she wouldn't be talking to you. So you can tell yourself about,
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
doing the right
fact.
thing. I'm picking up what another man put down, and then she's still fucking the baby father because she got soul ties. Even though that's another thing I tell brothers: if the chick you dealing with is talking too much shit about another dude, you need to slide out, because that is a sign she's
see,
emotionally
but Edward,
connected.
you're
I
saying
don't
literally
care if
what
That's
she
a
I'm
say
soul
she
saying
tie.
though.
That's a
lost.
soul tie.
But Edward, here's the thing, right? Because
But
for all
dudes
of the
know
men,
that.
but for
But
all
And
of the
women know
men,
too,
Latito, go
though.
ahead.
for all of the men who have hooked up with a chick and ignored all the signs she's clearly still fucking her baby father, there are dudes who've gotten together with a single mother or whatever, and that didn't happen, and it did end up happily ever after, or they broke up for some other reason years later or whatever. The point is that generally when people are ignoring red flags or whatever, it's because they're hoping they're going to be one of the success stories. They're not
Of
looking at saying,
course.
"Oh, I'm going to for sure fail. That's why I'm going to go into this."
Same
Like no
same
one
thing when
does
people
that.
go in the
Yeah.
casino. Same thing when people go in the casino, and we all know the
Yeah.
metaphor for that. I mean,
But
Right.
I
that's what
hear
I'm
no,
saying
no, no.
though.
I hear what you're. Here's the thing: when like men don't look for pragmatism in women. That's another thing, and this is what I was kind of saying. Women that are
Pragmatism.
pragmatic, that's a little bit different. But the thing is, you got dudes and I mean, let's take the looks off it. Black men put blinders on themselves. And then women know how to sniff out the ones that are extra goofy, or they would call extra lame, and when they are down bad, aka their sexual and marketplace value can't get them the dudes they want, they sit there and go to these dudes. And this is why one reason why they don't like dudes like me is because, or dudes like the manosphere, is because
Calling it
we're
out.
we're basically telling dudes you're dumb. If you like, for instance, if a dude tells me, one of my friends, if he tells me, yeah, man, yo, man, she crazy as a motherfucker, but the pussy is great though. Cool. Anything she does to you is your fault. She runs you over, I'm gonna say
Pussy
that's
whip
fucked up,
motherfucker.
but you might as well lay your ass down. Because the
Yeah,
thing
that's
is, my
facts.
point, my point is, and you just said it, Ruby, that they hope it'll be different. People have a right to hope. Just don't make it like society failed you when you played yourself. When you rolled the dice, it's not society's fault. And this is what women a lot of times do. Yes, there's
Exactly.
women that honestly don't know, but most of those women are lying. They knew. They just tell somebody a story. They do what they do to Amber Heard bullshit. They try
Yeah,
to
they
keep
live a
on doing it. They
double
keep
lives. They
hold
live
on,
a
hold on.
double
They
lives. They
keep
live
on
a double
looking. No,
lives.
they keep on. Hold on. They tell they bullshit and they keep on looking at the jury. You know they had to tell her stop looking at the jury, look at fucking me, because she keep on doing. That's what they do. They want you to give that sympathy, and this is why a lot of times black women will get on the microphone and talk about, like for instance, when black women talk about, I didn't know that nigga was gay. 8 out of 10,
Usually.
they're lying.
They
8 out of
do.
10 they're like. Like ain't no way I live in a community where everything you do that ain't masculine is getting called out. These motherfuckers, as Hellstrom would say, is issuing fucking manhood certifications the way these chicks are doing. And here's what's crazy. The dudes actually buy into that bullshit. Man, the way it is in the black community, it's just like when Iron Man did that little Knighton bullshit in Avengers Endgame and told Peter Parker, "You're an Avengers now," and he looked up and it was like, da 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 da. That's how women are doing, and dudes actually sign up. That's how dudes actually accept that, which is why niggas are always talking about game. Dudes ain't talking about I got this, bitch. Fuck game. You either own this dick or get the fuck off. No, what are dudes doing? They focusing on that
Yep.
manhood magic called game, and they always throw that another. You got to do. A dude could be making 150, like $200,000 a year, and be like 30 years old, and you got a dusty ass nigga talking you lame. And that nigga's broke. And that nigga's in poverty. But because the chick was on one, this is the community. I'm talking about the dudes now.
That's how
Right?
you get the
So
pussy
anyway,
to
coming back to
last.
my overall point is
Okay, once Edward,
yeah,
once you make your point,
exactly.
we're gonna pause to read the super chats. Go ahead.
My
Go ahead,
overall
Edward.
my overall point is a lot of folks they come on here and they pretend like that people don't know why people do what they do and everybody's dumb. And if we're talking about
Right.
high school, I understand that. But we got fucking 35, 40-year-olds talking about they need to figure it the fuck out now.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at that point in our lives now. We're at that
Okay,
point in our
wait, hold on.
lives.
Before you go, Wacky, let's read the super chats because we got a couple. I don't want them to get lost. So Melody, you
Hey,
there?
dropping bars.
Yeah, you do this one. I'll do the next one.
Okay, so we got Complex Easy. Thank you very much. And he
Thank
said,
you.
"Never get married." Seems like it's a question. I think maybe based on what someone said.
Maybe.
Get married at your own risk. I know plenty of dudes that are married in a variety of different circumstances. But get married at your own risk. If you sitting here, my problem with dudes in marriage is if you ask a dude why are you marrying her, that nigga don't know.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
issue. Like if you don't like dude, if you really ask dudes, and obviously there's exceptions to this rule, but if you ask a lot of dudes before they get married, like they're engaged, you really talk to them about marriage, what are their vision, what they want to do, they don't have a clue. I'll give you a perfect example real quick. There was a dude that I was working with. There was an operations manager when I was I was a sales manager, and this dude. First, he had a Chrysler 300 paid off. First thing he did was upgrade to like a set. This was years ago. Upgrade to like a $90,000 car. Just got married, and then he's sitting there getting me in trouble because his team is garbage, and he can't he wasn't getting the sales quota that he needed because his team was trash. It wasn't my fault. I can only do so much. And we get in a meeting, and then my boss, who's like the flagship, he was like my boss, but he was in our site at the time. And he said, and he's married too. He's all these people are married to black women, by the way. Oh, I know what you did, nigga. You said, I see that car. You sat there and did this. I'm telling you where you fucked up. You basically set the bar so high in the beginning, you didn't leave any room to grow. So now if you start taking a couple of steps back, she gonna think she took a bad deal. Nigga, you did that. Don't sit there and blame me for that bullshit. As far as you saying my first name, Edward's my middle name. And because that nigga was sweating. Stupid shit like that. Niggas don't have no vision. Niggas don't really understand what they're doing. Now, are there exceptions to this rule? Yes, I know them. But a lot of these niggas are basically on cruise control and they on some Jagged Edge song. Remember that song? We ain't getting no younger, so we might as well do. That's what they thinking. They don't even know why they doing what the fuck they doing. Go ahead. I'm done.
You know what? Let me agree with you really quick there. I think that's the same thing with college, right? It's like when you're just going on like autopilot and you're just following this list. Well, I've been with her for 3 years. I should get married now because it's just part of the list. And people are getting caught up with all kinds of debts and waking up in the morning. I don't even know this chick. I don't like her, or vice versa. I don't know this dude. I don't like him, and whatever. It's like it's the worst kind of decisions that people are making. These hefty financial decisions at 17 on autopilot, and then in their mid-20s they're making decisions that could be very. Let me finish my point, please. Then, you know, right after they've already made these huge financial burdens on themselves as far as, you know, student loan debts and whatever, then they're making even more, you know, decisions like getting married because they're on autopilot. And it's a terrible, terrible way to make a lifetime union with something that has so many risks. So I absolutely
And
agree with you there.
and then you ask them, why did you do it then? I was young.
Excuses.
Yeah. But let's read
That's
the
the black
second
people's favorite
chat.
excuse.
Let's read the second super chat before we forget about it. Go ahead,
Right.
Mel.
So thank you, Complex Easy, for the
Thank
super
you.
chat. He says, name one benefit for men to get married. One for me is to have a stable family, so you won't have
You
kids
could
out
get
of
that
wedlock.
without.
I
You
know,
get
but
that
you don't
without
want
that.
to. But you don't want to have kids without, out of wedlock. You want to have a stable family, and you have
According,
in-house vagina.
do
Like,
you? Do you? Do
I
you?
mean, yeah, you wake
A
up.
woman don't have to put out though.
Oh God, we're gonna go back to the.
Yep.
Assuming
That is a
assuming you
bad
have
way.
a partner, assuming you have a partner that has signed the basic contract of having sex 3 times a week and understand that and fulfill, they're doing the basics of what a wife should be doing. A man has the ability to focus, meaning if he can take himself out of the dating market, it saves him money, it saves
Yeah.
him time, which is why dudes that are married tend to make more. It's not just because they're married, it's because of the outcome. It's just like saying dudes with cars tend to get to places faster. Well, if you got a car with no gasoline, then you're not going nowhere, are you? But the point is, it's the reason behind that. So yeah, those are some of the benefits. But my whole thing is the laws are fucked up. The laws need to be updated. That's always been my thing. I'm not so much against marriage as men need to start really
What law?
fighting
What
for
would you change though, Ed? What would you change
Divorce
besides
law, not marriage law,
eliminating no
divorce
fault.
law. Yeah.
exactly? It's the divorce laws.
Well, yeah, well,
Matter of fact,
eliminating no fault divorce. And I think that's a simple one. Giving rights to the breadwinner rights. And the way I would push breadwinner rights is I would say, look, we got all these women making these money and they can't find a man on their level, but they put themselves at risk when they marry a dude that they may like how he looks, but they make more money. So we need breadwinner rights, and then that's how you sneak it in. That's how I would do it.
Well, for me to add, I want to add my answer to the question because, and I can't remember. I will look for the link and I'll post it in the chat once the thing is done. Like I'll post it in the comments. But someone was actually going over and they had listed and posted links of the 1,400 or so legal financial benefits that there were to getting married in America. I've posted and spoken about the fact that, when they do research, when compared to non-married age-matched counterparts, right? Married people tend to be 40% more successful. I think what Edward said
but they
there.
keep more of their money though.
Well, no,
Non-married,
but see,
non-married men.
the thing is though, right, is that, and this is what I think we all agree with, right, is divorce law is a problem. But given that you're not getting divorced, right, the question was, what are the benefits of marriage? Well, if you look at age-matched counterparts who are married versus unmarried, married people tend to be about 40% more successful in a bunch of different areas. So, there are benefits to getting married. It's just that I think that
No.
again, let me finish. I think that what most men are shying away from are the serious drawbacks of divorce, right? And how the law treats them if
Not just
that marriage
that.
doesn't go well.
Single men keep more of their money. Married men may make more, but they have to they have to give that money out. That it disperses, but single men keep more of their money. So
Well,
financially, that's not true.
most men that are married are not like the most, like 70% of white women work. So that's that's another thing I was gonna bring up with that chick talk about that work shit. So it's what kind of work that you're doing too that matters. But as far as the benefits, I always ask this question: is it better to have gotten married and gotten divorced, or never gotten married at all?
Never
And
gotten
and
Never
married.
got
nobody
the
never
marriage,
wants to
definitely.
answer that fucking question when I ask that,
I
especially the
I
married
answered it.
dudes.
Never
Yeah,
So
gotten
they
most
never
married.
got
most
to get
dudes,
married
most
at all.
dudes, most dudes ain't Leonardo DiCaprio anyway if they single. You know what I mean? So honestly, if you're married, you know
What
what
does
I
that
mean,
mean?
you're gonna keep more money. If you're single, who gives a shit whether you have more money? Because chances are your blue pill dude is probably gonna have to pay a lot of that loot out just to get sex at night. You're probably gonna
That's
have to pay.
speculation.
You're gonna have to
That's
trick. You know what I
speculation. That's
mean? Nah,
speculation.
nah, nah. It ain't
Dating costs more
speculation.
money. Yeah.
Exactly. Dating costs more
Fucking don't
money,
cost
so
no
you're
money
gonna.
though. Fucking don't
You,
cost no money. Dating might cost no
yeah,
money.
fucking don't cost no money if you got genetic currency, like Ed said. But I'm gonna be honest
Right.
with
Well,
you,
this is
man.
where the
Like, yo, a lot of
Leo
y'all
reference
brothers ain't
comes
got
from.
that genetic
Yeah.
currency. So you
Uh,
can
uh,
talk and
uh,
fantasize
uh,
all you want, but a lot of brothers ain't got that fucking
well,
genetic
that's them
currency
niggas. That's
where
them
they
niggas.
dig.
There's a reason
Okay,
why there's
well,
an incel movement. People are
exactly.
involuntarily
That's
celibate,
white
so they
boys.
can't just get it for free.
That's
There's
white
a lot
boys.
of guys who are sitting on their
That's
hands
white
waiting for
niggas.
the time. It's not just white boys. There's black
That's
guys
primarily
who
white
literally
dudes.
are involuntarily celibate, who are
Primarily,
virgins
white
involuntarily.
boys have more families than black men. White
The
boys have more
reason,
families than
hold
black
on,
men, but it's
Elstrom.
primarily white dudes. Even though white men are married at like twice the count as black people, but it's primarily white dudes. Explain that
They're
to
at
me,
50.
please.
They got a 20% more
Sexless
at this point.
marriages.
The
Sexless marriage.
reason why there's less black male incels is because part of what makes a dude an incel is is a standard. So like for instance, and I'm gonna say this and whatever people can take out, everyone take it. You can eliminate at least 70% of incels if they were willing to date a lot of African American. I'm not talking about like very attractive African American women, but they were willing
Oh
to
my
date
god.
average African American women, then they would not be out there. A lot of them usually they want Asians, they want white women, they don't qualify for those women. As
So you're
far as
saying
black
black
men,
women is the
hold on.
lowest on the pole?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not
Yes,
what I'm
you is.
No,
saying.
that's
That's
what facts say. That's what
that's not
facts
well.
say.
That's not. Well, I want to be clear.
Let him finish.
That's not what I'm saying because we already
What you
know that
saying,
there's a
bro?
lot of sisters is even today that are open today. I see a sister with a white dude all the time. Okay. So my point is that black men have more of a floor. Black men will date shit that other dudes won't even touch or at least publicly touch. Like
So you
Lizzo type
saying
shit.
black?
I mean, because
You
there's a lot of homosexuality going on. So black that's why you have less black incels because black men are known to be in the garbage men of American dating, and that's not a
Exactly.
positive thing. But and it's not just. I'm not even talking about black women. I'm talking the shit. They'll date shit. White women that nobody will touch. Like they will. I mean, it's known. So I mean,
so
So that's why you see that.
so you think that black men's standards are so low that they'll fucking grandmas, they
Yes,
fucking just they're
Nah, I'm
fucking
not going
dudes,
that far. I
yes.
ain't
they
going that
fucking
No,
far.
no,
dudes.
I ain't going
black men
that
are not
far.
black
Like,
men are
A
not
I'm,
fucking
lot of
I
them.
am
grandmas,
starting to see some
but black
GA
men will
shit
fuck like
online
women
with
in their
the
40s,
dudes
Big
even if
girls,
they're
yeah.
like in their early
like
20s.
going
I
crazy
mean,
now, man. Like,
Even Jason Black admitted to that when he was in his early 20s.
Well,
Having I mean, you could be older and be attractive, but the point is, dude, like you see it, you see it. My point is, even on the ugly side, that's one of the reasons why our women don't act
it's
like they're
okay to fuck a ugly girl though if you ain't getting no pussy. It's better than shooting up a
no, it
school.
ain't.
exactly, which is why black men are less likely to be incels. And so
It's
what
better than
happens is we
shooting up
try
a
to
school
equalize
though.
it.
It's better than shooting up a sorority.
Yeah, well, when
You
it
feel
comes
me?
down to that, like anything is better than that, pretty
That's what
much.
I'm talking
Like,
Yeah.
about.
bottom line,
Like
like
that's
niggas,
that's
I
that's
no
why
no
yeah,
no no no.
that's the reason
And
why
another
there's less black
and
incels than white incels and stuff like that. Most of the white incels
and
they
niggas,
have a self entitlement complex. That's all incels. Period. Have a self
yeah,
entitlement complex.
yeah, they're
Stuff like
entitled.
that.
Yeah, they're entitled.
And
But
shit.
the thing is, black
And the
men
rea-
are probably more willing.
and the,
Black men are hold on. Black men are probably more willing to trick. Okay,
They
yeah,
are.
that's
like
why. Yeah,
You
They
say
are
that's
black
so
exactly.
men?
Yeah,
much.
That's
of course they
not
are.
true. White men are the biggest tricks.
yeah. Right men
then
on
how
the
come they're
big.
incel?
And
Yeah,
then
but
Then how
and
that's
come they're
then
solely
and
based
then
on
No.
after
population.
and
That's
then I
solely
will
based on
argue
population
Yeah,
difference,
no,
they
though.
it's
still
not. It's not.
it is it is. They still the
no,
biggest
they're the
population over
biggest
here,
by
so they're gonna be
percentage
Let
as
more
me
white
well.
no
men
white no
tricking, but they
white men.
also more white men that are incels and stuff like that also too.
Hold
But
on. What
white
were you
men,
saying,
when
Niche?
white men do trick, they trick hard. They spend big money. That's what you're really saying, because
Eh,
you see
Yeah, of
these
course. I mean,
if
yeah,
these
of course,
it
yeah. Like
depends.
if you
It
talk to
depends on
yeah,
the white dude.
you
white
speaking to
dudes
guy,
spend
speaking to guy that dealt with porn stars and everything. They tell me most of their clientele is white dudes that spend that bread. They fucking be be
exactly,
and East Indian dudes.
exactly.
They be spending
Indian
that
dudes.
bread like crazy just to spend the day with them and shit
In
like that.
fact, a lot of prostitutes don't like black men because black men will try to fuck their way out of paying.
Yeah.
You got this. Yeah, I mean, that's known.
I don't know about that, but I do
No,
No,
know
it
it's a
that
fact.
is.
white
No,
men
No,
it's
for
a
spend
real.
more.
fact.
I've seen
That's
stuff
one of
like
the
that's
biggest
knowledge.
factors and stuff like that. They most black men, they want a cheaper deal and
Wait,
everything. They
wait,
want to
wait,
pay.
Yeah.
wait,
They're
wait. What
getting
Wait,
DR
Mel.
prices
Wait, hold on.
over
After
here.
Mel goes, we're gonna read
Yeah,
the super chat. Then Young Yeast, you can go. Go ahead,
yeah.
Mel.
They want to pay DR prices over here and stuff like that. And most of the time, you know
Well,
what I'm saying.
shit, we
I
are
read
there. We're there in this economy
exactly,
now.
and I be reading these review boards on these escort shit that said, and the stories I read is so damn funny and shit like that. Dudes be want to pay $40 for a chick that's thinking they're going to get DR prices. Most of these chicks look like fucking crack whores too, man. And you see the pictures of them.
They be asking Mel, "What are your hobbies?" My hobby is reviewing whoreboards to see what the
They
current
go
commodity
to
price
a high
is.
class escort and thinking they can negotiate for $40 on that chick.
He
That chick
looking at the
like, are you
coochie
stupid?
markets like Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Bitcoin.
All right, y'all. Let's read the super chat because we've almost lost it once. So Complex Easy, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Again.
Complex.
Right? And he said, I might get a surrogate. LOL. I'm 23. Y'all old niggas tripping. So
I'm 35. I'm not a. You're not an
Okay.
old nigga
I
until
wanted
you're
to
40. So let me say
I
that right
wanted
there. It's
I wanted to ask this question though to I think it was Ed that said, I don't know who said it. One of y'all
he's a
said it.
zillennial.
Um what prostitutes are saying that black men don't want to pay? Is it the black ones or is it the white ones?
Yeah, no, I can answer that. I
all
can
of
answer
The
them
that.
non the
collectively.
non-black
Of
ones.
course,
Huh?
white,
Which
black women also too. So, I don't know about the Latinas and everything, but mostly, yes, it do be the black women and the white women, of course, saying they don't
the
mess with
white
black
women
dudes.
say that
But
black men
black
don't want
women,
to
Strippers
pay
black
them?
women.
too say that.
This is
Yep.
very telling. This
That
is
is one of
very
the reasons
telling.
too.
But
Also, is
black
because
women
the
tell
pay.
you
The
though.
conversation went from unrealistic dating standards to trends in the prostitution community.
Yep.
That's great,
Sounds
guys.
about right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
black
understand the
women,
black
black
uh-huh.
well, black women, like if you're talking about strippers, like talk about shit like that, like where a lot of that like they tend to know where the ballers are, so you'll hear
Yeah.
that less. So like if you're in like Houston or something like that where do something strange for another change, like in the places you know to go to try to do that. Look, I'm like, oh, you do that. Don't no.
Yeah, if you
I
go
just
to
have a
strip club,
variety
they're
of
not
different
gonna say
types of
that.
friends. I
Yeah,
told y'all niggas I'm in the middle. So I got a variety of different friends. They're
exactly.
connected to a lot of different shit. My point is
I,
we know the points of entry for that bullshit. It ain't all on the fucking track. You know,
I'm gonna keep it
you
I'm gonna
know,
keep it a
why
stack.
you think niggas go to strip clubs so much? Go ahead.
Exactly. I'm gonna keep it a
Which I
stack.
hate, by the way.
I don't think black men are tricking heavier on white women than black women just by attraction. So the girls that's saying black men don't have money or want free pussy, those are only black girls. And niggas don't give a fuck about what they think. Generally speaking,
No,
you
no,
could
no,
It's
just
no,
go
not
off
no.
the
just
internet.
black
No,
women. It's
no,
not at
no.
all just black women. I
Yeah,
It
heard
is
yeah.
black. It's
strippers,
mainly
No,
people
it's
in
not.
No.
no
it's black women.
escorts and
Yes, they
strippers say it
bitches.
all the time of all
It's
races.
actually
They all say
No,
it.
that's a lie. That's a lie.
black women are
Easy. I
actually
just
less.
told you I would do that. You could
Hold on.
trick on
Black women
females,
are
so I know this
actually
for a fact.
black
I
women
know
are
this for a
actually
fact.
less on that totem pole
It's the
because,
black
like I
women.
said,
No,
no,
it's the white women also
it's
too.
not.
It
Because the
is.
thing is, even amongst black men and
Good
black
midnight,
men,
everybody.
black men do not trick in the same way that non-black
Good
men
evening,
do.
Terrell.
Not black men will black men might try to trick the first time and then they're gonna try to dig their way out of it. That's
Yeah.
typically like and
With black
that's how
women,
they'll
yeah.
tell you. Like they will tell you
Yeah.
they may
Hey
pay the
Terrell,
first time.
Hey,
Yeah,
Miss
They're gonna
Ruby,
gain
we
that.
have you
They
back.
pimps. Black men want to be
got you
pimps
back.
more than tricks.
exactly. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
hence the complaint because that's not because if you're sitting there selling per transaction like that, you're not playing that game. That's not the game they're playing. You know,
I'm
so they're not.
I'm
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
not the
100%
game
sure
they're
that
Right.
playing.
black
They're
listen,
playing.
when you're a prostitute, they're not
listen.
trying to get fucked well. They're trying to get money.
Yeah,
I'm
Facts.
exactly. They be
That's
100%
fact.
sure.
prostituting y'all niggas.
I
They
mean,
be
this is just
prostituting
logical.
y'all niggas.
Don't yeah.
They
Okay.
I'm
prostituting
one
y'all niggas because
I'm I'm
they're setting the
100%
bar.
sure that black men spend more money in terms of tricking on black women in America than white women. So the
That's
complaints are
great.
coming.
Is that going to
It's so
create marriages? Is that going to
hold
No.
on,
create
nigga.
healthy
We're not talking
marriages?
about that though. We're not talking about that right now. Like I said, I think that
What's the easy? You're saying
black
black
men
men trick
trick. Can
more
I
on
speak?
black women
Yeah,
than
black
they
men spend
tricking
more
more on white
money.
women.
Yeah, they trick more on black women in America than they do white women. So the complaints are coming from black women. And they've been calling niggas dusty. So I think there might be
No,
um
that's you're
another
trying to
reason
say
Doesn't
that
behind
matter
you're
that.
Here's the
whether
trying
they
thing.
to
call
You
a
can
nigga
actually
you're
there
trying
are
to
a
dusty.
lot
Who
of
speak.
cares?
there
Are
are
they
a lot
really
of
dusty though? Are
there
they
are a
really
lot of hold on.
dusty? That's
there
the
are
question.
wait,
Are they
hold
really
on.
dusty?
Hold on a second. So there are a lot of strippers and OnlyFans girls, porn stars, stuff like that, right? And so they'll do like, tell all tales, or they'll do tips and tricks for how to make money in this business and stuff. And they all say the
But for
same
white
thing. It
guys,
don't matter if they're white, if they're Spanish, if they're whatever, they all say the same thing. You see a bunch of different tables full, and there's a table of black guys, a table of Spanish guys, a table of white guys. You go to the white guys first, the Spanish guys second, the black guys if there's no one else available. And in
Yeah.
fact, girls will double
That's
team the white
true.
guys.
That's
That's
true.
it's just
That's
what
a
they
true
all
thing.
say.
That's a real
wait,
thing.
wait,
And
And
wait,
a
that's
lot,
not
of
wait,
and
what
that's
she
not
lot of
said?
hold on,
What
pimps,
she
that's
a
said?
lot
not
of
a
pimps tell
negative
a
thing.
lot of pimps tell their chicks too. A lot of pimps be telling their
Yeah, they,
broads that too. They tell them, yo, don't
Hmm.
fuck with black dudes because
exactly.
they're gonna do
Yep.
some shit to you. They're gonna pull some shit
They make
off
up all
on
these
you.
stories and stuff like that.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, I
Are
saw
they really
especially
documentary
smooth?
if
Is
that
it all
actually
made up?
about that.
yeah,
That's
No.
especially that
real
pimp
talk.
is a black dude also too, and he got black Latinas and white girls. He's telling them, don't deal, we're not dealing with black customers and stuff like that.
And it's
So the
not
white
because
boys, them
they
white
For
don't
boys
want
black
gonna be
it's
women,
it's a
yeah.
money
doing their money
no
like
and
nothing. They're
and
gonna
y'all
pay way more than what it is. Most of the
and,
white boys gonna be hide up on coke
The
or
complaints are coming from
yeah.
with
black
that.
women.
So
The complaints is
no
coming from black women.
okay, man.
Mr.
Okay.
Know It
It
All
is.
got it
It
right
is.
there. Mr. Know It All hit it right there on the screen. That is what
Yeah,
it is, and that's
exactly.
an actual fact. That's an actual
Yep.
truth.
Facts.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean, you
yellow.
ask
Maybe
white
yellow
women,
women
you
too.
ask Asian women,
Yeah.
you ask all of them because I've dealt with all of them more than 4 times over in my 42 years of living, and they will all tell you the same damn thing. Whether they working at a restaurant, whether they serving you at the bar, whether they'll tell you black men are fucking cheap and have no reputation for tipping, and apparently
At
try
a
to
Also,
restaurant,
charge out of their
Now
bill.
at
I
a
do
bar.
no, I so it's a couple. See, the problem is no. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I personally tip to try to deal with that, but it. You got to understand what people are doing. So it's not like saying, well, black men are bad. No, black men,
Well, that's what you're
they
saying.
because we're in. No, I know that's how people are perceiving it.
No,
When
that's
we
yeah. They're
go
just saying
into
it. Yeah.
a gynocracy, our job is to serve women. So sexually, black men get their rocks off with how the woman gets off versus other races of men don't think that way. So the point is that does not translate into a prostitute or transaction when you're
Very
dealing
good,
with a
Evan.
bitch that's trying to that's all. So y'all like, man, it's because
Very
black
good.
men are bad. Trust me, if they trying to fuck a nigga for free, chances are that's gonna go in reverse order unless
Yep.
they think they can get something from the other folks.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
if they're
Facts.
sitting there trying to get money, they're trying to get in and out and do what they got to do with minimal things possible. And so
Yeah,
that's
but
Facts.
that's the
Yep.
thing. The thing
Yep.
is
but
that
Yep.
a lot of
that
women are doing that these
What'd you
days,
say, Melody?
especially in the black community. Women are doing that
no,
these days, regardless
I
of
was
whether
sa-
they
well
prostitutes
after you
or not.
finish talking, I was saying that Terrell's next because he was waiting for a while. I want to hear what you got to say. Hi, Terrell.
Yeah, hello, good to
Hey,
be on here.
Terrell.
Hello, Miss
Hey.
Ruby.
So, what do you have on this topic?
Well, it seemed like y'all talking about prostitution. I completely against that because I don't think any man can get sex for free. They don't have to pay for anything because black men can get any woman they want in the world, and prostitution to me don't seem like real love. I just want love from a woman that's real and genuine and she means it because sexual satisfaction don't last forever. But if you really in love with somebody, kind of do because that sexual satisfaction only do you good for a short amount of time, and then you're gonna need it again, and
Thank
it create
thanks.
problems.
Thanks, Terrell. Thank you for coming, man. Like we needed some of that wholesome stuff right now to bring us back to the original point. You know what I mean? Because we were getting lost in the whole
Mm.
hullabaloo about prostitution and you know what I mean and all that crap. And what brothers
Black.
don't understand is that like a lot of these black women in this community right now are actually prostituting themselves and they're setting a price on y'all and you niggas are falling for it. You guys are falling for it. You guys are falling right in and now we're
I
having
thought they
this
were cheap though.
conversation. Now we're having this
What price? They send a
conversation
price.
about what a
Nobody
black
paying.
woman is worth, about marriage and how much the price tag is on that and all that because these black women are setting these standards that are so unfreaking realistic because they think what they're doing is what every other race of woman is doing. It's just a monkey see monkey do thing. And like a lot of men in the black
Calling us
community are
monkeys.
not seeing through that. They're not seeing the fact that these women are putting an unreasonable, unrealistic price on themselves, and marriage is the oldest form of prostitution You know what I mean? And they're completely pushing that
Marriage
shit.
is not prostitution.
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways. It is. You know
They
what I mean?
they
You
are
just
they
skin it
are
for the
trying to
name.
they are trying to do prostitute sex worker tactics also to not
Exactly.
to not
In order to get a
correctly.
marriage, in
But
order to
Yeah,
get
they're
a
trying to
marriage,
use
they
the
do that
tactics.
tactics on what they do online. Like you see on the
prostitution
Instagram
guidelines in order
pages.
to set the basis for a marriage. They're
Like
Y'all
using
you see on
bullshitting
the
for the
Instagram
cookie.
pages how they always got their cash app charging people dudes just to
Are those,
DM them and all that stuff.
are
That's
those married women?
hmm?
Are
Oh,
those
some of them
Lot,
married
are. Some
women
of
that's
them
in
are.
there?
You never know.
lot of those
I know that
women
some
that
of them are
do
married.
that.
some of them
The
is.
point is they're not.
Some of them are sugar
Some of
babies.
them,
That's
some of them
crazy.
are married.
Some of
Some
them
of
are
them are in
married sugar
relationships.
Very
babies.
Some
few,
dudes they
Mel.
don't care. They
You do
want.
not have to cash out those women.
Yeah, you don't have to
Very
cash
few.
app them, but I'm telling you what I've seen. That's what it is. Some of them are in relationships. Some of them are married. But there's dudes that's gonna send them money just to get close to them, just to get
Well,
that
that's
shit
shame.
That's
traffic
true.
close to
That's
them.
true.
Well, that's shame
That's
on
true.
them then, and they trying to
Yeah.
do all that and they in a relationship, which means they ain't being faithful. And
Who?
that
No,
kind of
no,
and
no.
that's
Who?
You could be
Who?
faithful and do
Talking
that.
about the girl. Talking about the girl who's getting money.
no. I talk about the girl that's if she married or in relationship and she's still doing all that prostitution and asking for cash out. That's more like whorish behavior.
Well, actually, some of them men already know what they're doing. That's why they married them or dealt with them.
That's them
But
simp
Actually, they
ass.
encourage them. Some of them are actually managing them.
but that's shame on the man too. That's simp behavior as well.
Well, how's that shame on them? But they both making money out of it. I can't knock them for this. Like, hey, that's what
You
they.
would give your wife's pussy away for money, Mel?
If I was into that, then I have no problem. I wouldn't swim, but I'm not
You
into that.
tripping. You
I don't
tripping.
want
You
that.
tripping. You tripping. You tweaking. You tweaking. You tweaking.
No,
If
fuck
I
is
was,
this
ain't
nigga?
nobody could be into giving their wife pussy away, nigga. I'm not.
There are dudes like that, my dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If I was
Okay, and
into
they
that type
fucking
of shit,
cuckold,
then I
and they
won't.
cucks, and they're cucks. That's the
That's
point.
why
They
there's a,
simps
Actually,
and
that's
they
why
they
cucks.
there's a
are.
word
But it
for
is
it.
like
That's
an
why there's a word
definition.
for it.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
not
there's a
a.
word for
Yeah, it's a
that. It's called
fetish.
cucking.
Yeah.
It's called cucking. That's it. Like giving your wife pussy away for some OnlyFans money, you cucking. That's all that
That's
is.
not cucking. That's not what the
Yes, it
actual.
is. How the
No, it's
fuck is
not.
it not?
No. Fuck you
I
gonna
just,
tell me what cuck, the actual definition of
I
cuck
just
is? That's not the definition of what a cuck is. A cuck is a girl that sits there and lets his wife get fucked and fuck
It's
him
the
and
same
then
shit.
emasculating him. Not
It's
putting
the
him there
same
and
shit.
emasculating him. That's what being a
It's
cuck
the same
is.
shit, nigga. It's the
It
same
ain't the
shit,
same shit
dummy.
because he's getting paid out of that shit.
Oh my god, this nigga's okay,
He's not
okay.
sitting
You
there
got a
letting
price tag
letting
on
his
your
wife
wife's
emasculating
pussy.
him in front of him.
You got a wife. You got a price tag on your wife pussy, so I can fuck your wife, Mel.
If I fucking said I was into that lifestyle, I just fucking told your ass I'm not into that lifestyle. So fucking no,
Guess what?
idiot.
I'm gonna put it in your wife's ass, nigga.
Yo, fuck
You ain't
that,
my
yo.
ass. You go to fucking ahead. What the
If
fuck?
motherfuckers
I'm
was
gonna put
really
it in your
about
wife's
that life,
ass,
if
nigga.
What do
niggas
you
was
want my
really
side
about
chick's
that
ass?
life,
That's my side chick. Go ahead.
yeah.
That ain't
Hold
my
up
Niggas
though,
money.
guys.
really,
Real
I'm gonna
quick.
jizz on your wife's chin,
We're
nigga.
about
Go
to
ahead. Put in my side
we're
chick's
about to
ass. I
shut
don't give
it
a fuck about
down.
side chick.
So
Go
any
ahead.
you guys have any final thoughts before we shut it
Final
down?
thoughts: Mel's wife is a bitch, and I'm about to fucking teabag her, nigga. Peace.
Go ahead, you
Thank
fucking dumbass.
How about you, Terrell? Any final thoughts?
Finally,
Well,
man. The dumbass is off the damn line.
I
Shit.
was just gonna say is if you have a woman, you put the value, and to me, putting price tag on a woman for China is unnecessary. To me, that's supposed to be the most scared, sacred place. Only somebody very honorable to have, and then that's just
Amen.
something for a man to go up and
Amen, man.
war and do it because that should be safe for a special person, and that's how a lot of problems are created, and that's why single motherhood is going on, baby daddies. That's why they looking for stepfathers because stuff like that. People don't want to learn from their mistakes. They want to repeat this generation curse that been going on for decades. And
Yeah, they want to go on and on with it. They want to, you know what I mean? They want to drag it out. They want to see whether they're going to get some different results at the end of the finish line. And guess what? For all y'all ladies out there that's thinking that kind of shit, it ain't happening, okay? There's no fucking rainbow. There's no fucking four-leaf clover at the end of the damn finish line. It ain't gonna end well, man. Especially for the women. You know what I mean? I don't want to see my black people like in this situation because it's not gonna end well, man. If it keeps going the way that it's going, there ain't gonna be nobody having babies, there ain't gonna be nobody getting married. Y'all gonna be walking around like a bunch of asexuals with your cocks cut off and your tits cut off, and everybody's gonna be looking at each other wondering, what the hell? How did we get here? How did we get here? Black people have not been free for more than about 60 years. You know what I mean? 60 years. And they're still trying to figure out how to make all this shit work. How do you think that's even possible in this day when we're bombarded with messages off of television, messages in the music, messages in the social media? This shit is just making it even more difficult for black people to get exactly where they need to be, which is with each other. And you know what I mean? I may be a mixed person. Y'all could call me a white boy or whatever, but you know what? Honestly, growing up around my family, which is mainly mixed people, we understand about marriage. We understand about relationships. You know what I'm saying? We understand about those things. And the very things that the black community is looking outside of itself to understand, it's in you. You just have to tap into it and stop tuning into all the distractions that's going on around you and distracting you from really what's immaculate, what's really important. And it's all a bunch of lifestyle. It's all a bunch of material things that, you know what I mean, you can't take with you when you die anyway. You know what I mean? But the best you can have is a life lasting partner. You know what I mean? Somebody that knows you, somebody that loves you, somebody that's willing to go in the dirt with you, pay bills, you know what I mean? Have some kids with, push out a few seeds, you know what I mean? And maybe if the two of y'all are decent enough people, that might translate into a legacy. But let's not get it mistaken, man. Just having a kid born, pushing out a kid ain't a fucking legacy. You know what I mean? Which is something a lot of black people need to understand because y'all
Well,
don't need to.
JT, what if I asked you that
It's
despite
final
all
thoughts.
this
It's final
negative,
thoughts, Mel. It's final
yeah,
thoughts.
I'm
So
sorry, Mel. I'm sorry,
sorry,
brother. I love you, by the way. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave it right there and let Mel take it over.
oh,
I'm gonna just say, yo, you know what I mean? I think what we really need to do is just get back to the basics of knowing how to interact with each other. You know what I mean? Knowing how to say a kind word, how to say an honest word without being hurtful. No tone policing or anything. Just basics, man. You know, the way that they did it in the 50s, the way that other chick was trying to take it there. You know what I mean? Because guess what? In the 50s, people just gave a damn about each other. You know, there were less distractions. We were able to focus more on each other as people. And if you want to go back into that time, then I think that that's the kind of energy we need to channel, you know, that wholesome energy, you know, because back then for black people in America, it was very turbulent compared to, you know, the white man, for example, because, you know, they owned the spot and everything. But you know what I mean? We could still do it. I believe black people could still do it, man. My hope flows eternal. Peace.
Well, thank you for
yeah,
that,
JT.
thank
Thank you,
you,
Terrell
bro.
and
JT.
JT. I appreciate it. So
Yes.
let's hear from
Anytime.
Mel. Thank you. So, Mel, what are your final thoughts?
All I can say is like, despite what type of marriages are these days on the negative side, they are still successful ones out there, and there's are solutions out there. I've been on these channels when I see nothing but solution based marriages, and they coming from married women, the type of woman I want to marry myself, and stuff like that. And they live an example and stuff like that. And even the men now are married to these type of women. They live an example. The problem is those type of marriages not being promoted enough out there. Or when they provide an actual solution, we got people that over argue with them with their sob stories and everything, blah 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 and everything. Like, yo, like these are people that actually are in successful marriages and the marriages you want. So it's like, if you want a solution, you got to try something different. You know what I'm saying? Or you want to stay stuck to being pair bonding and doing goofy shit. Because we got a lot of people do a lot of goofy shit, making excuses too much for that shit and everything instead of hearing solutions. They stuck in their ways. That's why I say you can't save everybody. I'm not trying to save everybody. Leave those behind. I want to save people that want to be saved. So you know what? Shit. If I want a successful marriage and the type of woman I want, I'm gonna be around those type of people so I could be inspired to look for those type of people. And like I said, I tell the people, I live in the city of New York. I can still find feminist, submissive, traditional women in the aggressive city like New York. I know where to get them at. I be around them all the time. So if I know where to find, that means my game is totally different from a lot of people over there too. But it starts off with you yourself and everything. If you have a certain bad vibe or attitude or Like they always say, we carrying these red pill talking points too much out in the real world. Ain't nobody gonna deal with you. Like, yo, between acting red pill and actually talking about it so much, nobody want to deal with you. We gonna keep talking about it on a hateful manner and everything. What goes on here, YouTube, that goes on YouTube. But once you're out in the real world, you gotta put that shit behind you and shit like that, and take what you've been taught from YouTube out in the real world and act it. But you ain't gotta attack every woman and everything, because if you want a successful marriage and everything, you gotta start with your standards. So and you gotta present that energy and come with a realistic point of view how marriage is actually supposed to be when you get into marriage instead of this. A lot of people got a misconception what marriage is supposed to be and everything, but that was the original topic that we had today. Unrealistic expectation. And that's the truth. A lot of people got a lot of unrealistic expectation in what a marriage is. Or some people do run their marriages differently. Like I was just discussing with the idiot on the damn panel of the young idiot on there and shit like that. Like, yo, there's couples that's like that. That's open relationships like that. Think I'm gonna knock them? No, because they agreed to that. That's on them. And shit. There's no one size fit all. As Ruby will always say it, we're not a monolith. So, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, what relationship you want, speak on it, and then if you agree to it, make it work that way and stuff. Y'all both come to agreement. That's how you handle your relationship, and that's all that matters. Just y'all two. Stop letting other outside forces dictate how you run your relationship and everything. At the end of the day, it's going to be y'all two. That's it.
Mhm. Well, thank you for that,
Absolutely.
Mel. We
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it.
That
And
was awesome.
I,
That was awesome.
All right.
right? And I
Mm-hmm.
know Ruby got final thoughts. She always does. She likes to
Of
end it.
course I do. I have so much noise. No, I'm kidding.
Let's
Not
go.
really though. Um, just kidding. Not
What are
really.
your final thoughts?
Um, a few things. A few things. I think the main takeaway for me, and again, a lot of times, people are very comfortable in their discomfort, and they don't even recognize that that's what it is until things shift or change significantly for them. So, for example, in my relationship now in my life, right, suddenly we had this totally unforeseeable, totally, like, there's no way we could have planned for it. There's no way. And it just wrecked our lives. I mean, really, it wrecked our lives. And had we been single, like individual people having to deal with that and go through what we went through over the last few weeks, had we been with somebody who, we didn't have like a solid foundation and a solid marriage, if we had been married for the wrong reasons, I would guess honestly, these 3 weeks, just 3 weeks, would have entirely ended our relationship. It would have entirely ended us as individuals. It would have destroyed everything. Um, but see, that is the thing. When you have a functional, productive marriage, it's so much more than all these little one-off things, all this surface crap, all this easy come and go crap that everyone keeps focusing on. Right? Like, people don't really seem to understand what the concept of marriage is. They just think it's a longer version of dating. They just think that that's what it's supposed to be. It's like being able to get all your dating needs fulfilled all in one home or something. Like, no, that's not what marriage is. Marriage is not about all of the surface tangible crap. It's just not. And the problem is because we do not have a firm grasp or understanding of that, because a lot of people don't have a firm grasp or understanding of what the role of a mom or a dad is, let alone what a husband or a wife is. Of course, we have no firm grasp or understanding of what marriage is supposed to be. And so you have a lot of people who are just like, everyone's so busy fighting about dumb shit about submission and what you bring to the table and all this stuff that, this is first date argument bullshit. This is the first 6 months argument bullshit. That has nothing to do with marriage, right? Just like all of the problems with the law and divorce has nothing to do with a functional, productive marriage. And people don't understand that. And so because they don't understand that, even people in marriage these days don't understand that. They're getting married for all the wrong reasons, and they're missing out on what marriage could be for them. And I find it so frustrating because the majority of the advice that's being listened to and being given is by people who are not married, who have never been married, or who are now divorced because they were never able to be successful in marriage. And no one really wants to hear the married folk when they're speaking. No one wants to really listen to the married folk when they're speaking. No one wants to. I mean, we saw. I think it was Faith in the chat who said, "Well, my husband married me. I had a child at the time. We've been together for 20 years." And what was the response? Oh, well, he's a beta cuck then, or something. And it was just like, wow, like we are so willing, so desperately willing to invalidate the whole concept and union of marriage. No wonder we honestly don't value each other. We don't value relationships. We don't actually value family. We don't, right? We talk a big game about it and we point at the other side and say they don't value the union of marriage. They don't value family. They don't value togetherness. They. But it's everybody. Everybody doesn't get it. Everyone just doesn't get it. And honestly, I had to pull myself out of this conversation because I was honestly, I was getting outraged. I was getting outraged earlier. I know y'all saw me, but it was just because what we have gone through in the last 3 weeks and the strength of our foundation, the strength of our union, the strength of our marriage is what kept us afloat, what kept us being able to still smile and laugh and joke, even through the tears, even through the hell, that we could look at each other and say, man, of course I don't want to be going through this, but I wouldn't go through this with anyone else, right? I don't know how I'd make it through without you, right? Even at the worst days and the worst of times. The people around us who said, man, that's love. I don't know what y'all have love. Y'all have something real. Just like my family, friends, whatever, right? People just saw it. And, I'm trying to deliver that information to y'all, and hopefully some people heard it, some people receive it, because it's real and it's different. It's not the same thing as dating. It's not the same thing as all this bullshit out there. It's not the same thing as all this dysfunctional nonsense that people are building lives on, and I really hope that we can have more of these types of discussions about unrealistic expectations and get to these deeper levels of it. So I'm always just talking about the bullshit about the table and whatever, you know what I mean? Because I think we really need more of these discussions to keep kind of pulling shit apart and getting to the nitty gritty and getting deeper and deeper and deeper to try to get somewhere, where maybe we can have a little bit of change and growth. So that's all I gotta say. I know it was a lot, but that's all I gotta
That
say.
was great. Great final thoughts. You always have like some really good points at the end and throughout the show. But thank you everybody for coming. Everybody made some great points. Thank you everybody who supported our stream with the super chats and everybody who liked the stream. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new, hit the bell and subscribe and also share to your platforms.
Melody, I have a question.
Sure.
Who's there on the picture? That's you and Ruby?
Yes.
Okay. Well, y'all look great.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
I guess y'all love showing off on here.
Not really love showing off. We just like to have these conversations.
Okay.
Like it means a lot to us. Our passion.
Oh, Miss Ruby, you the co-host?
I am, yes. For tonight, at least. Whenever we do live and Upfront, I'm the co-host, right? But Melody does do stuff on her own as well, right? So
yeah, but every Tuesday, and sometimes we might throw in on a Thursday. Yeah. So, and check us out this Thursday. We will be doing some really good content about a crazy lady in a bonnet.
Yep. And her unrealistic expectations. Trust me, y'all don't want to miss it.
Y'all do not want to miss it. Definitely not. There's an echo. I think it's Mel. Can you mute up?
Oh, I was about to ask something. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, ask.
Ruby, you ever heard of Unsolicited Boss? Her channel?
Sorry, say that again. What's the name?
Her name is Unsolicited Boss. Her channel.
No.
You check her channel out. You'll love her. I think maybe you should be a guest on her channel one time also too. Talk about your story with you and your husband. Which be the same power as your marriages, especially the struggle you're going through now. It's definitely be inspirational. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I will check that out.
Yeah, I'll put the link. Yeah, check her out. Yeah, I think she has a show on tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. Tell your story with you and your marriage here with your husband, especially if you're going through now. Definitely, you show how hard couples that are going through thick and thin and everything, and everything you're still making it work. Yes, it's definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of strength in that relationship. You guys been through a lot, but
y'all know tomorrow's the first day he's going back to work after all this stuff had happened. You know how hard that
Really?
is for a man who likes to protect and provide, that he had to prioritize protecting and in essence helping and taking care of all this crap and being blocked from being able to pursue the, providing portion of stuff in the other ways. Yeah, this is first tomorrow is his first day back. Very first day
Wow.
back. And he had to make sure that everything's okay enough, right? That I was settled enough and that I was recovered enough that I could even just kind of handle stuff on my own, because I had a few rough days too. So, I mean, that in and of itself, just like that kind of level of sacrifice. You don't realize what kind of sacrifice that is, and how appreciative and grateful and thankful I am for him, but realizing too that, yeah, it's the kind of person he is, but also that if there wasn't reciprocity, if I wasn't giving and sacrificing whatever in those ways for him, then it's harder to give to someone in that way that you're not receiving from in that way, right? Which is why I say it's reciprocity. It's a self-fulfilling cycle, right? So
Mhm.
I give, I sacrifice, I give 100%, he gives, he sacrifices, he gives 100% in all ways, and then we're always covered. And even when I forget to cover myself, he's covered me, and vice versa, right? So it's a big deal.
Yeah. Well,
You know what?
tell
That
Mr.
definitely beats out just giving sets right there and everything. You know what I mean? That's telling in the best form of intimacy right there. Just knowing that you got my back, bring me peace, and you're still there for me to fight my struggles. And the world's beating me down. I'm trying to make it best for I can for my wife, and you're still holding me down that way and everything. That's the best intimacy right there. I can say, yeah.
Right.
Right, way
Like
better
these
than
women who
sex.
want to complain about money, right? Oh, the money. Well, hey, guess what? He didn't go to work. But you know why? To protect me and to immediately provide for my much more immediate needs of shelter and cleanliness and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, it's like people who just can't figure that shit out. Like, so you're going to prioritize him bringing in a paycheck and what, just leave you abandoned in wreckage by yourself all day? But as long as a paycheck's coming in, like for me, I've just never been that person, right? I don't prioritize money like that. It's never been the important thing. I tell people that all the time and they don't believe me. I don't care. I care about your character. I care about your values. I care about who you are and what you're about, and making sure we're basically aligned in that. How you treat me, how you receive me, right? And how you receive my treatment and your ability to be open and honest with me, so that way I can actually know you and know your needs and know your wants to fulfill them. And it's a thing. Like, people really don't know what marriage is about. They really don't. And you can tell, because people don't even know what dating's about. So if they can't even figure out marriage light, they definitely can't figure out marriage. It's what it is.
You just
Right.
described
Right.
the real reason or the real meaning of what a submissive woman is. Because a lot of dudes out there don't even realize submissive women have standards technically higher than the IG 304. Their standards is way more high and stuff like that. Their expectations way more high than the dude. And a lot of dudes don't even know how to handle that type of responsibility of dealing with a submissive woman and stuff. When it means
True.
she trusts and relinquishing power so you can handle things, that means you better be on top of your game for not even have a single thought, even on your worst days, that you still gonna make the best for your family, protect that at all costs and everything. She ain't gotta question you twice or even once and stuff like that. A lot of dudes
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to handle that type of responsibility. They do a lot of goofy shit and stuff like that.
Facts.
Why they
Oh,
back and forth with their woman, everything. She don't trust you. Like, yeah, because you show the energy that she can't. So why should
right,
she?
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. So on that note, I have to get up for work in a few hours. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Make sure you check our show out on Thursday. Make sure you check me out on Saturday and Sunday, maybe even Monday. Um, Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you. Good
Anytime.
night.
Good night.
Cheers.
Good night, y'all. Cheers.
Good
Good
night.
night.